Oh.
Everybody's always talking, and they should stop it.
Oh, my voice.
This is from Klonoa, Door to the Phantom Mile.
Nice. Oh, are we doing the
Oh yeah, let me see if I can figure that out real quick. I don't know. You guys vamp for a second while I figure this out.
Oh my god, the video on Discord was playing and I was freaking the fuck out. I was like, where's this shit? What's going on?
Hey, look, it's the Final Fantasy
so
6 one again. Oh, it even says enjoy your gaming. I missed this one.
Enjoy your gaming.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, we got
Classic.
the fixed one. I got sent the one that was fixed, but I know.
We'll worry about that later.
Yeah, we'll worry about that another time.
It was like last year. I don't know. I don't remember when this.
Yeah. I think we said we were gonna do one for Resident Evil 4, but you know, as much as I love that game, like the kind of aesthetics of the packaging for the Resident Evil remix is relatively plain. There's not a whole lot to actually do with that. Amaki always make proggies. Hey, it's Bob.
Yeah, Bop is here. So that's what I was figuring out. Bop is going to present the thing for us. So he's going to be our Sean tonight. Bop, I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so we'll do that after the super chats. Does that sound right?
All right. I think Bob's coming in a little low right now, but we can adjust that volume before we do the segment.
Exactly. Yes,
Cool.
I'll get it.
All right, thank you, Bob.
I can also scream really loud.
That's
And
perfect.
that's
Oh, you scream really loud.
Actually, I got you just turned up in Discord, and that's
Oh, wait, I'm allowed to scream.
So yell.
You don't ever not scream.
Kind of true.
All right, that music's off. Let's test this music. That's the wrong show.
That's the wrong.
Yeah. Oh, we could do the voicemail dump truck.
We can do a voicemail dump truck again. Here we go.
Man, I don't know. I don't think we got top the one we actually did today.
Bailey was on her game. She was crushing it.
No, I'll save that for my intro.
Oh, there. Nope, that's the wrong one as well. That's the wrong. There it is. All right, you guys hear that? Now chat hears that.
Did you
Okay.
tweet?
No, I'll do that right now, and then we'll be ready to go.
You should just also tweet about me having Skyrizzy powers.
You know what? Great idea. Perfect.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
We doing closer to the message pin then?
Oh, I don't have one of those.
No.
That's too much.
We're doing the guessing game, right? The Metacritic or Open Critic.
Oh, yeah.
The Fantasy Critic.
Oh, this is Fantasy
yeah,
Critic. Okay, cool. That's
Yes.
right. Yes, there we go.
I also thought it was yeah.
Okay, well
good,
then,
good.
fantasy. If it's that's right. I thought it was the Open Critic.
Yeah, we
one.
can wait till the end because
Yeah,
that's
we'll do it at the end. Okay, cool.
Okay,
Cool.
It's funny how I also okay, we got it.
I know I just read it and then I just completely mixed it up in my head. All right, let's see here. Oh yeah,
We are due to do that though, right? It is like
yes,
the third
we're
quarter.
overdue for that. Yeah.
All right, it's fine.
Okay. There's that. Okay, now I just got a tweet. I just had to get YouTube set up as well. Am I live? Yeah, there I am.
I don't know. How do we?
Yeah, we are.
No.
Maybe
I have Skyrizzy. I've never been more alive.
Maybe we're just a projection from another universe.
What does Skyrizzy actually do? I assume it's just an autoimmune suppressant, like all the other ones.
I don't know, man. That's your
It's
drugs.
a monoclonal antibody. Huh. No, it looks like
That
it's
doesn't
different.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, this is different. It is an antibody produced from a cell lineage made by cloning a unique white blood cell. It's cloning unique white blood cells. I'm being cloned. That's fantastic. I'll live forever.
Yeah,
well, one of
that's
me
what that
will live
means.
forever. It's like prestige. I'm prestiging myself. Spoilers. Spoiler.
All right. Okay, I'm good to go. You ready if
All
I
right,
count us in?
All right.
Yes, sir.
I guess so.
All right, well, that's all I need to hear. What is that? Okay, I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, we are starting in 5, 4, 3. internet. You're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the Game Mess Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything about the world of games so you never have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb, and with me is...
Yo, I'm mouse single and ready to mouse mingle. It's Mike Minotti.
In today's episode, the leaderboard respecters have logged on, Mount Rushmore of leaderboard games, and Fantasy Critic. Huh? It's a lot of leaderboards.
It's all leaderboards.
Yeah, it's all leaderboards all the way down. It's the only thing I'm thinking about this week. I'll even mostly because they won't give it to me. Mike, how are you doing?
I'll give it to you, buddy.
Cool. It's going to be one of those episodes, huh?
I'm all right. Sky rizzed up still. So, but which it turns out it's just a headache, really. So
right, yeah. Well, a headache in a sense of domination, like that you could take over anything. That's what it seems like.
I think I always have
yeah,
that.
You
But
kind of
maybe
always have. Maybe
I'll trust you if you think it seems more out of control than normal.
You know what? It's all the same. Just I think the level of inhibition, which is almost always zero, fully is at zero now.
It's at negative.
It's negative. Yeah, right.
Oversharing to an alarming degree.
In reverse, and we are all on mousemingle.com, of course. How is it going otherwise? You got like anything happening in your life that we should know about that you do want to overshare about beyond the mouse mingle?
No, I just want to stay home and play video games. That's what I want to do.
Yeah,
I like
nice.
I don't know. I want to like take some time off soon and catch up on like not like crazy like can I take like a couple of days so I can like places like really catch up about Fantasy 14 and other things. Maybe actually take a real vacation at some point. That might be nice now that like the super hotness is cooling down a little bit, so maybe there's some places. Maybe go to some Guardians games. Almost said Indians. Excuse me, please. Yep. I'm already getting canceled over Liquid Death. Not that one, too. That and Paprika. I'm full of real spicy takes that anger people.
Little spicy takes, yeah.
Well,
or little spice takes, I suppose.
Yeah, not spicy.
Yeah.
I wish paprika was spicy. It would actually taste like
something. Then it would actually taste something, yeah.
You agree? I know you're afraid to pipe up because, I'm getting so much hate, but I know you agree with me.
Yeah, I do. And I think I echoed everything you said. I'm like, but hey, he's going to get the heat. I'll let him take it.
Yeah, that's fair. I understand. I respect it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of the same way over here where I am wishing I could play even more video games than I am. I am playing a lot of NES. I almost called it NES Remix, NES Nintendo World Championship, and we'll talk about that here at the end of the show today. We'll also talk a little bit about it, I guess, in the news. Yeah, we'll talk about the news and lack of leaderboards there. But yeah, it's been good. I'm just kind of looking forward maybe to the weekend. It's been last weekend was like the first real weekend I had in a long time, and then I just basically spent it all weekend like doing stuff around the house. So I want one where I can like sit down for like several hours in a row. That would be cool.
Right. I think this week's been tiring because, last weekend I was in LA and it was, it's not like it was some arduous thing, but it's traveling and traveling always tires me. And it does kind of suck to come back home on a Sunday, right?
Yes.
Kind of messes up the schedule a bit.
Yeah, that's why it really was rough for me coming back from Michigan on that Sunday night at like midnight, 12:30 and having to work the next day, and I'm like, I'm so run down. I'm basically sick. I'm just gonna take the day off. Well, let's get into it. Thanks for joining us, everybody. You can give us a good rating wherever you are listening. Hit that like button on YouTube, please. It helps people find the show. If you want to ask a question, you could drop a super chat during the show here on YouTube. We'll get to all of those before the end of the program. Thank you to Carlos Ayin, who is Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube, for the use of our theme songs. Thanks to One Up vs. CPU for our artwork. You can find more at oneupversuscpu.com. We are on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and wherever pods are caught. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to Christian for producing, and you can get more from Mike and me and support us by going to patreon.com/GameMess. That gets you access to our Discord server, participation in Q&A sessions and our Game Club discussions, early access to new episodes of Game Mess Jeopardy and Columbros, and of course, all of our shows ad-free. Friendly reminder, we do have that new supporter tier where you can get in there for $2. So if you are just trying to get into the Discord, if you're interested in that $2 tier, it's relatively new. People have been joining up with that, and I appreciate it. And then we have all the other tiers to get you all the rest of that stuff. All right, Mike, big topics. Let's get into it. Let's start with NES Remix. It came out this week. The reviews have been mostly middling, and it comes down to a couple of things. Some people say the content is pretty slight, which I think is probably going to be fair in the long run, although I'm kind of in the middle of it right now and enjoying it a great deal. and then a lack of online features, specifically leaderboards, but also like ghost data, things like that, or selectable ghost data. Basically, being able to play this game with your friends online in any way is completely absent. And it feels like that goes against like what they were marketing the game as, but in the end, it's like they're like, no, it's there's going to be a world championship every week. We're going to select 5 events. There's going to be a leaderboard for that, and the rest of the game is practice, basically. It's strange. And then there's a party mode, of course, if you want to play locally. This has been Nintendo this generation, where they are very much into the idea of taking these concepts and focusing them first as a local multiplayer games, maybe primarily for families. And I kind of, at a part of me is like, I can't fault them for going after the audience that really brought them here. Like that's, dance with the one that brought you. That's who they are going after every time with every single one of these decisions. And yet this just feels like a huge oversight. How are you feeling after getting a little bit of time with the game?
Yeah, I mean, it is weird on this one. You kind of talked about this. It's one thing with Mario Party that's going to appeal to like, family units that are, inherently have multiple people in a house who are ready
Mario
to play
sports
locally
games,
together.
right? Even those are like going to be like for that audience to a certain degree.
Right. A collection of like old NES games repackaged in a more competitive way is, and I'll say it, like the most boomer game Nintendo has ever made. And it is specifically going to speak to a very savvy audience who's kind of, ready to play games online, and who I think a lot of people that they want to play these games with do not live with them, maybe aren't even in the same state as them. So it is bizarre because it is really a game that seemed tailor-made for a leaderboard feature, and it would not be a difficult thing to make. And I really am missing that kind of, feedback on it. I'm having fun doing these challenges. I think the presentation of it is a lot of fun. I like how they kind of make it feel like it is this competition, right? Like even the sound effects and all that stuff. But it's kind of weird. Like I get a time, and aside from the game telling me if I got like an S, which is like a goal, and it's fun to get an S. But after that, like I don't have any feedback on terms of like,
right.
Whoa, like how much better can I do? I guess I got to go online and see how people are doing, or like literally, it's what I've done. Text my friends to see what their time is in a challenge to see if I need to beat it or not. And like I'll do that because I think this stuff is fun, but it's just wild that it's not built into this experience.
Yeah, the lack of feedback is definitely something I've really been noticing. Where I'm trying to figure out a challenge, and I am like, okay, am I on the right track? I'm getting like A+, A++, which is like all the ranks before S, and I'm like right there. Am I missing something? And not being able to go and see someone's ghost data to figure out like, okay, how did the number one player do it? So you're kind of like at a disadvantage there. The game is not like super searchable yet because it just came out. There's not a lot of resources for it. So searching for it, like I like search some of these things on Twitter, like the names of some of the challenges. No one's really posting about them yet. So part of that's going to be this is for a boomer audience, and they're just playing the game and they're not really tweeting about it. It's not like it's some huge seller. It's not going to be. But it's like it just feels like you are so on an island on your own, and that how like far can you really push yourself in that situation? It's kind of like, and I think the whole idea of the game is to push yourself. And I've been in scenarios here where I am trying to get the S rank, and some of those S ranks are difficult, or at least they require some like probing of the level to figure out exactly what you need to be doing to accomplish that. And that is fun, like you said, to a point. But after that, yeah, you're right. You're just kind of all on your own. I've been pretty frustrated by that.
Right, and like, because it's Nintendo, I bet fans are going to come together and make some kind of resource for this that is going to be nice.
I was thinking about like these things, all these levels could just be, different things on speedrun.com. Like we could just be submitting our videos to speedrun.com. And at a certain point, it's like, yeah, we could, but like how much can that really support? Like how many like people are going to be able to watch those videos to confirm them? That sounds like a lot of work, but I mean, it's better than nothing. I kind of hope it gets to that point.
And it's like, I think the really short challenges are actually kind of fun ones. Like, just get the sword in Zelda. There is going to just be an optimal, obvious, like, first place strat to it. Like, there's going to be thousands of people tied for first place at some point on those. But it's fun. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though, Jeff. Like, I am really enjoying it. I've played for like an hour. I do think it's really fun. I like going through these little challenges. Even that, like, the World Championship mode, I think, is a good idea. I do like that format. It seems to me like it should be one feature instead of the main one of the game. I also really, it's silly, but I really liked how I was able to pick my favorite NES game. And while, there's only so many games here, when you pick your favorite NES game, it is like all of them as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I was like, I bet Mike Tyson's Punch-Out won't be on there. It'll just be Punch-Out with Mr. Dream. It's like, no, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out's right there.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, cool, I get to actually pick Mega Man 3, not just my favorite NES game, but my favorite game. And I don't know why that mattered to me or felt cool, but it did. Did you pick Mike Tyson's Punch-Out as your favorite NES game?
I did, yeah, I did. I picked Mike Tyson's Punch-Out mostly because I'm like, maybe they'll see this and they'll put Punch-Out in this game in an update. But also because I like it. But no, I think you're getting to a point that I'm definitely a huge fan of. The presentation is fantastic. It's really, really good. I think they are doing a good job of capturing what the Nintendo World Championships art style looked like back in the 1990s. I think is when it happened.
It feels like I'm watching the end of The Wizard.
The Wizard, yeah. I almost wish they would find a way to bring those the running scoreboard guys that would have the line behind them. I wish they had that in the game a little bit. That's always running through my head. But whatever, it's pretty close to that, and it definitely feels like it could be right next to all of those assets. And I think the music's good in terms of being in the menus, selecting the stuff from the menus is good. When you're actually playing the level, there's the crowd sound effect that I thought was very cool.
Yeah.
It worked on me.
I like the pins as kind of the achievements. I like the player icons, and you can unlock more. I unlocked a Ridley one, and I was like, yeah, Ridley, 8-bit Ridley. It's so goofy looking. I love it.
Yeah, and then it really does just hone in on these very specific moments in these levels, and they know what they're doing. They're picking all the moments I would have picked from Super Mario Brothers. Hitting the blocks in 1-2, running through all 1-1, getting 30 coins and having to kind of go across 2 levels to do that. Things like that. It's and there's a good variety of the 3-second ones, and there's a good variety of, okay, this one's gonna be 30 seconds, and then you get an occasional one that's a minute long. And I think they do a really good job at that. And then when you do find one of these ones that is, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and you are okay, I keep getting, no matter what I do, I just shaved off 0.2 of a second, and I'm still an A++. What do I have to do to get an S? And you start feeling the difference between 1/10 of a second, because it just causes this time dilation of you are so locked in that you feel every movement finally that your fingers are doing. A lot of times I'll just kind of be I'm sitting back playing a game, whatever. Here you really got to get in there and feel every little movement that you're making once you are locked in, and the game just completely facilitates that. It's really good at it.
And sometimes it's you have to get a little creative. There's one just kill all the Octoroks on the screen in Zelda 1, and to get an S, you kind of have to wait for a moment where 2 Octoroks are overlapping. You can hit 2 of them with 1 sword strike, things like that. It's fun. It's
now,
neat.
How did you discover that? Did you discover that organically?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so that's cool. That's impressive, because the way I discovered it was I did go into the online mode, which is you fighting against other people's ghosts, and I went to the hard one, and I was watching the replay. I'm like, how did this guy do it in 3 seconds flat? And I was able to watch the replay and see that he got S rank by hitting the one on the left, hitting the top one, and having the beam hit the second one, and then turn to the right and immediately hit that one. And I'm like, okay, great. Now I'll go into the, because I think that was also part of the World Championship lineup this week.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, I'll go do it there. And I set the perfect time there, basically. So
I also do it's a little thing, but I'm glad that when I do these challenges in the World Championship mode, if I then go to do them in the main game, it does remember what my time is there.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
that's really,
oh, you already did that one.
Even if you haven't unlocked it, because with that one, I was like, I haven't unlocked that yet, and it's weird. I could see it there. It's not selectable because I got to beat this first level first. I did that, and it's okay, no, yeah, you could do it if you want, but you already have your S rank here. I'm like, very cool. The World Championship mode specifically is another strange one because of that isolation of doing the 5 challenges and having no idea where you're going to be on the leaderboard. There is no leaderboard yet. The leaderboard will happen on Monday, apparently. That is very strange. So I'm like,
yeah.
part of me is like, okay, I set the times that feel pretty good. I guess whatever happens will happen. But on Monday, I'm probably going to get it. It's like, oh, I thought I did really good. It turns out I didn't do good. A lot of people did perfect on all 5 levels. So I'm behind.
And then what? It's done.
And then it's done. Yeah. And then what is the leaderboard going to show me? It's going to show me my global spot, and it's going to show me my birth year ranking. And that's it. So I'm not even going to see where my friends were on that list. Of course, we'll be able to share, but there's going to be a lot more people playing than I'm going to be sharing with. It's bizarre. But in the moment when I'm playing the game, I'm just like there was occasions where I was like, this is almost a religious experience where I'm like getting so in touch with this 5-second level that I am like seeing through the matrix and I'm connected with the game one-on-one, and I could like was doing tricks to like sort of like not be thinking. I was like trying to put like, I was like imagining a baseball game happening in the back of my head. And so I wouldn't like actively be engaging with what's happening. I'm just like letting my body react, and I started playing even better. So there's just so much cool stuff the game is doing. It feels tailor-made for me, which makes it that much more frustrating that the leaderboards aren't there.
Right, because I mean, I really am enjoying it, and it in a lot of ways is the game exactly what I wanted. It's just missing this very key and simple feature.
Yeah.
It's like so simple. Like I don't really think they're going to. Part of me's like, please just patch it in or
just
something.
Put it in there.
But
yep,
I'm just not expecting it. Not
yep.
expecting it.
No,
But,
I'm not.
again,
I'm not
still
trying to get my
having
hopes up. Yep, it would be great. Yeah. I am feeling very positive about what I am playing, and then in the same breath, I would likely say it's very specifically made for us, people who did really grow up on these games. Like I am 100% just bringing in the way I've been playing Super Mario Brothers my entire life into this game and getting to like use that in this stuff. For a lot of other people, I think it is going to feel slight. It is going to feel like, okay, I'm just trying to go get an A, I guess, on some of these, and then I'll go to the next one, and I'll get an A or a B on that. Whatever, I'll go to the next one. If you're going to play it that way, there's not going to be a lot here for you, especially because I don't see the appeal of the global leaderboard world championship challenge each week if that's how you're playing. So, sure. Yeah, it's hard to recommend to most people, even though it feels like a perfect game for me up until the leaderboard thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend if you are like an NES head, I would recommend it still. I think it's just.
I think those people know
a lot of fun.
Right? Yeah, like if you're on the fence, it's hard to like push you over on that side of actually getting it. All right. After years of working on Hitman, Project 007 lead says working on the James Bond game feels organic because it's so close to our DNA that it just feels seamless. Basically, they just kind of go on to say that like they're having a lot of fun. They are taking a lot of what they learned from Hitman and applying it to James Bond. Does that encourage you? Because it does me. When I hear them, like, I'm glad that they are taking the formula and adapting it for James Bond and not trying to make a whole new game necessarily.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad saying, like, yeah, this really fits our DNA or not. Like, we, went outside of our wheelhouse.
Right.
Like, no, you're right. Like,
I mean, sometimes people going outside their wheelhouse works. So I was talking today with Sean about Hi-Fi Rush. Great example of going out your wheelhouse and it working. But I think part of me is
sometimes you get a Redfall.
Sometimes you get a Redfall. Yeah, sometimes. And I think being able to recognize where they are like the experts at something and then they're applying that to James Bond, I think that is going to be very hugely beneficial to this game in the end. Because we can all kind of see how that makes sense. And then, of course, there's some question marks about exactly what kind of game it's going to be, exactly how it's going to work. But I'm glad they're like, no, we picked this IP because we think it makes sense. And now that we're making it, it's working out exactly like that. Do you think this is a game that like will have online multiplayer or something like that just because of the legacy of 007? Or do you think they're just going to make their own little game? Yeah.
I mean, I think you just make your own little game. Like almost now more than ever. It's
now
like,
more
why
than
bother?
Ever. Yep.
Right. Doing that. I mean, look, there's the legacy of GoldenEye, and then there were a bunch of other James Bond games that never recaptured that anyway. So I think you can just move on from that. It's okay.
Yep.
People get it. I do wonder about. I forget if they already said that like it's not going to be like based off any of like the specific James Bonds, but I do wonder like what the vibe's going to be because I kind of hope it is like almost more like wacky gadget James Bond as opposed to like grittier real agent stuff. And they have that opportunity to do that because they are literally in the middle of James Bonds right now. Like the idea of who James Bond is kind of more up in the air and up to you to decide than ever at the moment.
Also, I think, Hitman definitely can get very wacky and silly while also playing it straight, and that makes it better. I think if they kind of go for the same tone here, and it is, Roger Moore style James Bond.
Give me a moon level.
Yeah, and then there's like, he's taking being on the moon very seriously, but we all see it and he's doing wacky stuff. To me, that sounds ideal. And yeah. I think you're right. I think the thing that's least likely is trying to go for the Daniel Craig style. It feels like that's, it's played out just enough that, and you're you're coming off a bunch of those movies. They're going to try something new, like you said. We're in between those. That feels like catching a train that has come by long ago, and there's no point to chase that anymore.
Isn't it interesting how they're kind of taking their time here, recasting Bond? In my mind, when the Pierce Brosnan movies were done, like the Daniel Craig thing started moving very quickly.
Yeah, right. That felt the same. I bet they wish they had someone picked already, but yeah, I wonder if it's the kind of thing where enough actors are at a point where they're like, I don't know if I want to commit to all those movies these days. But I don't know, or maybe they just feel like they can't find the right one. I'm not sure. Maybe
they decided to let it breathe a little bit. I don't know. I didn't see like the last couple of those Daniel Craig Bond movies. I'm not a big Bond guy. I like a couple of them, fine, but not really my thing. But the games are often very fun. In fact, the games usually do more for me than the movies. So I'm very much looking forward to this. And, I will look forward to it just because it is the Hitman people. Those games are incredible.
Real quick before we go to this other story I've written down, there were a lot of people this week that were freaking out once again about Gears of War coming to PlayStation because of a job listing. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see this.
So the job listings, there's, it's the typical stuff, and it's like preferred qualifications, and this is a bullet pointed list, and it's, interest in multiplayer gaming, experience with Unreal Engine. Excuse me, had a cough. It gets down to experience with Xbox Live, PSN, Steam, or other gaming platforms. And people are reading that and be like, it's coming to PlayStation. It's definitely coming to PlayStation. And while it might be coming to PlayStation, that feels like a big extrapolation from that sentence because what they're saying is we want someone who has experience with online platforms.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what online platforms it is. We just need someone who knows that shit because they can apply that to wherever the game ends up. Now, at the same time, I think that, who knows what happens with these games in the future. But it also feels like where the conversation about, could these games come to PlayStation is one that's mostly settled. Yes, they could come to PlayStation going forward. We know that now. And they keep suggesting that even more is on the table. So I just won't be surprised if it actually ends up. But this feels like this feels like a reach in this moment. What do you think?
No, I think you're right. Again, like I would not be shocked if Gears of War shows up on PlayStation like as soon as this next one. It's still like the one where it's like, but maybe not, maybe even probably not, but like they're absolutely considering it. They're absolutely talking about it. And it wouldn't be some shocking thing. I tell you what, if that's something that's going to upset you, then start preparing yourself for the eventuality of it so that maybe you'll be over it when that happens.
And also if you're like one of these PlayStation fanboys, it's like here it is, proof that they're dead. It's like this has happened a bunch of times already, and it's going to happen again. Like the conversation for this is settled. It is. Yep. We get what's happening here. They keep repeating themselves. They keep doing it. So kind of just get used to it because this is the new normal. And yet at the same time, I think I tend to agree with you that it's probably unlikely for this next Gears of War game, the one that just got announced. At least, especially at like day and date. Maybe it's the kind of thing that a year later, who knows what happens.
Going from Gears of War to Halo, you see that the Halo TV show on Paramount Plus has been canceled after 2 seasons. See, like people liked season 2 a bit more than season 1, but it wasn't some giant turnaround.
There's no fallout, that's for sure. And then apparently the producers and Microsoft and everyone's still involved, Amblin Entertainment, Steven Spielberg, are looking for a new home for it. But I don't know. Good luck. I'm not going to watch that show. There's no way.
Yeah, it just seems like, I don't know. Maybe you count your losses at this point. It just seems like it's wild that you miss with that. And I know it's always hard, but boy, did you not want to miss with that Halo show.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I didn't watch it, so I'm not really...
Well, sure. I mean, in terms of reception and popularity, the fact that it's canceled after 2 seasons, it's a miss.
Yeah, yes, right. No, definitely. I'm just saying I didn't watch it, and I was about to, criticize it still, so I was, caveating that. But I didn't watch it. That said, if I were making that show, the decisions that I've heard they made, there's no way. You just make it much more of an action show. It's an animated show, so maybe this is not the 1-to-1, but like a Genndy, and I can't say his name, Genndy Tartakovsky show, like Samurai, Samurai Jack, yes, or like the Clone Wars shorts show that they did, something along those lines, where you can have long moments of silence and just action, storytelling through action. That would be cool. I guess I get that's expensive for live action, But that's what you're making with Halo. I don't know what else you think you're going to be able to pull off, because clearly you didn't pull it off.
Right, and I can understand it's a little challenging because I don't know, like Halo always kind of presents itself as being more mature than it really is a lot of times.
Right, and I understand that the lore has more going on, but I agree with you.
Right, and I understand how, like, maybe you're tempted to do weird things, like we gotta, we gotta add sex to Halo and more, and it's just like
you gotta see the master chicks.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of making a Star Wars really at the end. It's like a slightly more military-ish Star Wars. You're making like if the Clone Wars was good. I don't know.
Right. Yes, exactly. And well, even though
the cartoon, I mean, like I meant
right.
Attack of the Clones.
Right. Okay. Sure. Yes. And then it's like, yeah, it even has like, the complicated with like, the Jedi take these kids when they're young and train them and take them away from their parents. Like, isn't that a complicated thing? It's like, yeah, that's what they do in Halo too. There's like similar stuff there.
Sure.
And it's like, yeah, you can definitely explore all that stuff. But for the most part, I think you just want to make big bombastic action show that then has some like cool sci-fi stuff happening underneath the surface. But yeah.
Do you want to know what happened on the lore on Halo with the what they do when they take away the kids?
Sure. Tell me. I was gonna say no, but now I do. Now I'm curious.
They clone the kid, and then they give that clone to the family. But the clone is like a defective clone, so he dies at young age. So it's like all the way messed up. It's like, what are you?
Hell yeah! Sounds like a good time.
That's what they do.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Good luck with your third season, but we all know like where Microsoft's real attention is at with their television stuff, and it's on Fallout. An Emmy-nominated show, a very successful show that is also getting critically. It's nominated for Best Drama. Like, that's crazy.
You ride that wave.
I mean, it's not going to win because it's got to go up against Shogun and shit, but still, getting nominated, it's crazy. All right, Emio, we know what it is. We talked about it last week. Now it's confirmed to be Emio, the Smiling Man dash the Famicom Detective Club. That's right. A new Famicom Detective Club game.
Oh, you didn't know this, Christian. I wonder why you were criticizing us when we put this on the rundown again. You're like, oh, we already talked about this. Like, yeah, but now we know what it is. And then you mumbled something about anime. I don't know.
He always does that.
For that thing with the disc, isn't it?
What?
The weird Famicom.
Famicom disc system? Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah.
The Famicom Detective Club games might have been disc system games. That's possible. I don't know. But they definitely never came out here originally, but they did release some as remakes on the Switch 2 years ago. I don't know.
Recently, yeah.
Recently enough.
The 3DS, I think there's also a version. I remember people talking about this because it's like a visual novel.
No, there would be some. That's something that you're thinking of something else, because the Famicom Detective Club games only there was a huge gap, and then that was why it was a big deal when they came to the Switch. There are similar things that Nintendo's done, but yes. So this will be the first new Famicom Detective Club game in 35 years or something like that. I think that's right. And okay, I think this is kind of cool. Like, listen, I'm not going to pretend this is living up to my imagination when we heard, Nintendo's making a new M-rated game. But my imagination got out of hand. Like, of course it did. To hear that this is the reality, I'm like, okay, let's reset things. And now, do I think this is a cool idea? I do. Am I going to play it? I'm not a visual novel guy. But I don't know. I think they did a good job with this, and I'm kind of curious. I know a lot of other people are very disappointed, but I don't care. I'm
not disappointed. Again, I was never necessarily excited for what this could be. I always had a hard time figuring out what it could be, and then as soon as you do say Detect Famicom Detective Club, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Maybe I should have seen that coming.
Yeah, Jason Finelli said exactly that on the show, and I'm like, as soon as he said that, I'm like, that's probably what it's gonna be. So glad he called it like that. Right,
and it's nice. The Metroid guy is back to do this, right? So it's kind of like a little pet project for him. So that's fun. Yeah, why not? Sakamoto, that's right. Yoshio Sakamoto. Hey, why not?
Yep.
It definitely feels like kind of a late to life NES or a Switch game. Hey, I'm always saying Nintendo should revive more old franchises. I can't take that back just because it's not necessarily one I care about. I'm glad they're doing it.
Yep, same, exactly. Interesting. And if it's not for you, listen. I got a lot of games coming out Nintendo still.
What makes it M-rated? Like the other Famicom Detective.
It's about serial killers.
Okay, but the other Famicom Detective games aren't M-rated, are they?
I don't think so. But they were written in a very different time.
Did did the rating existed back then? When the
Well, not that, but
Yeah,
the
but
remakes.
they
I
did
mean,
remake
you
it,
know.
so like they would have had to rate that one.
Right, remake it. I mean, there's a lot of more. Like they killed people.
The 2K's collection is rated T for teen, so no, they weren't. So
Okay.
they're amping up
Yeah.
the what I can only assume is sex and violence.
Well, serial killers, yes. Yeah, it'll be like there'll be some like references to whatever however the serial killer is killing people, and that'll get you an M rating. All right. That does it for the big topics of the week. Of course, if we didn't talk about something you want to talk about, well, you have your opportunity, I guess, to do exactly that through the super chats, which we're going to get to right after these messages. All right.
Gonna get a new drink.
Acquiring these games. Yeah, they were from the Family Computer Disk System.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, the Famicom Disk System. Yeah, that in Japan they went Famicom Disk System for a lot of stuff. Like Zelda was a Famicom Disk System game in Japan because that was very popular over there, and it was, of course, it was a lot cheaper for them to produce those discs than the cartridges. But that never took off anywhere. Well, never took off in North America. I don't know if it was anywhere else, but like the idea of like taking a disc and going to a kiosk and like choosing a game and having it like rewritten over a disc is crazy to me. But that's what they were doing back then.
That sounds cool as fuck.
Yeah, it was neat. Yeah, and it was like, they sold the games at a discount because it was saving them a lot of money on manufacturing.
Yeah.
And they passed the savings on to you. They would never do that today, but
No. Absolutely. Hey, you wanna set up the thread? So we're gonna do super chats, and then right after that we're gonna do Rushmore.
yeah.
Yes.
I do have a curveball if you guys are interested.
Yeah. Well, what do you got? What do you got cooking?
I did whip up a messy pin.
Oh, okay. Well, then yeah.
If you do want to do one.
Okay. Well, sure. We'll do a messy pin. That sounds great. Okay. So then what we'll do is we'll do the super chats, and then we'll do messy pin, and then we'll take a break, and I'll get set up for the other thing after that.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. I'm going to bring us back in right now. And we are back. And as promised, super chats. Mike Minotti, you have those in front of you. Why don't you go ahead and read those right now?
All right. Big Fresh 37 says 2 weeks ago, classified military secrets were leaked on the forums for the video game War Thunder in order to win a forum fight. This is the 14th time. That's incredible. Wow.
Wait, the 14th time this has happened? Or what?
I would assume. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's the 14th time that they sent the super chat. So yeah, we'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have heard stories like that before. I remember hearing that in the past. 2 weeks ago is not when I heard that. So yeah, that must be another time. Man, that is crazy.
It happens on Discord too. And
yeah,
Discord
of course.
happens also. Like people arguing, and they're like, they just drop some knowledge, and it's like, oh, classified documents from the military.
That
it's
is
like, whoa.
incredible. Especially like just imagining what the War Thunder scene must be like.
Oh God,
it's got to be kind of a nightmare. That sounds incredible.
Simon SD says, Jeff and Sean, I want to learn more about general hardware. Do you two have recommended sources? Mike, you're supposed to play Final Fantasy 16, not 6. Hey.
I don't know, Sean, what do you think? Oh, he's not here.
Oh, real shy.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, oh, there he is, everybody. There's Sean.
Yeah, I know what we're talking about.
There we go. Thanks, Sean.
Digital Foundry's got a weekly podcast, and you don't have to watch all their videos, but you watch those as well. That's good. And then if you want general hardware, actually start even broader than that. Start with like just general technology. There is a YouTube channel called Technology Connections. They just did a video about awnings, like the things that go over windows. And they're the best. They're the best fucking videos on YouTube. This guy just knows what he's talking about. He'll do the science. He'll do the math for you. It's just the best shit on YouTube. It's great. So start there, and then go to your library, and there's always going to be a couple good books on hey, how computer graphics work and stuff like that. Or whatever topic you're interested in, and you could read those, listen to books on tape, and you'll get a general understanding of just how these things are rendered in the first place. So for me, it's a combination of things: podcasts, YouTube videos, and books. And if you are consuming these things consistently, not a ton, not 2 hours a day, but a couple hours per week on any number of these variety of sources, over time, you're going to get more and more informed on it. It just kind of happens naturally. So don't make a big deal out of it. Find the most entertaining way to consume this stuff, and it should click for you.
Okay, I'm going to play 16. I'm going to play it this year, but boy, Final Fantasy 6 sure is good. It is.
Maybe
Ooh,
what if
man.
Final Fantasy 16 was more like Final Fantasy 6?
Ooh, I just did the I'm in the world of ruin now. People will know. The first, so the remixed music is very good, right? With the remixed Searching for Friends is the name of the theme. It's kind of the second main overworld theme, and it only kicks in after a very specific kind of turning point in the game. Holy crap, did they kill it with that? That was like a religious experience listening to it play the first time.
Oh, that's right. I saw you tweeting about this. Yeah.
Incredible. Holy crap. Like, if you know Final Fantasy 6, you don't think you're going to play the Pixel Remaster type soon, just look up the Pixel Remaster version of Searching for Friends. Beautiful. Nintenderic says, just finished the voicemail dump truck. I'm from Indiana and can confirm the nacho cheese with breadsticks thing. Absolutely everyone loves it. It makes more sense than Dan's Oreo thing. Yeah, of course, bread and cheese is like one of the greatest combinations ever. I am so on board with this idea. I got to get some nacho cheese and breadstick. Oh, I love nacho cheese.
Yeah, nacho cheese is good. Nothing against that. I do like the marinara. Your thing about the cup of marinara with the sealed one, yeah, that's bad. But a lot of places do fresh marinara, and that's great.
Look, trust me, I'm not anti-marinara.
I know. And I got what you were going for. And of course, nacho cheese is going to be a better dip. It's incredible every time, of course.
Yep. Alrighty, next up here is from El Grug, who says, why does Jep keep failing in Daikatana? It was funny the first time, but bro, just keep doing it for 3 hours yesterday. Mike always had proggies. Hey, to be clear, there was that one time I did not progress a single episode in Mythologies.
I am still I don't think I'm even half as long as you spent on the second level of Mythologies.
I think I was on that for like 5 hours.
Oh, was it 5 hours? Okay, never mind. Then I am halfway through that. Or I'm probably exactly halfway because there was about a half an hour of froggies in that last episode. Yeah, I did really realize, the how long to beat thing, like what the problem is. Like, there's an option for unlimited saves in the menu that everyone on Earth would click. Of course, even if you don't start, default. You would immediately be like, oh, this is annoying. I'm just going to click that now and play it that way. And I think it even defaults to that now. Yeah, you're right. So the fact that I am not playing with unlimited saves has been a real issue. I think I'm just going to maybe go back and see if I can find a couple of things to make it a little bit easier. Although my issue is just, I have had plenty of health on that second half of that level. It just sucks. It's just a bad game.
I think what we can do for sure to make it easier is if you go back to where that one super armor was, and I do know where it is, and then go back to where you were, it will automatically save with your super armor because it's a load zone.
That's true.
That will be something.
Okay, that sounds good.
I wonder if we could be little shits here. We should have done this way earlier because that load zone's right there. We should have opened that gate or the boss arena and just run through
there and come back. Oh, god damn it, you're right.
We could even do that. They're beating the boss.
How did we honestly? How did we not think of that? How did no one in chat say that? That's crazy that no one thought of that.
Never considered that.
Never even thought about it. It's right there.
We got a game plan for Wednesday now.
All right, cool.
There's something.
Yeah, there's something. Great. Yeah, that game sucks. It is so bad.
No, it's supposed to not be that bad. You got off easy, everybody said.
And I am playing the worst way you could possibly play. So there you go.
That's true. That's true. All right, next up
forward
is
to actually getting past that level though.
Willow Davis says Mike popped the Sky Rizzy before the show, and it just hit. Yo, baby. Nick Turbo says, how have you two been? It's been a bit since I've been able to watch. I got my first real job out of school and starting Monday. Stay awesome, dude. Congratulations, Nick
congrats
Turbo.
On getting the job.
Our boy's growing up before our eyes. That's great, Nick.
It's a beautiful thing to see. We're doing well. Hope you are as well, Nick.
Yeah, I'm Sky Rizzy'd up. How could I not be doing well now?
Doing better than ever.
MC Goomba says that feeling when you're at the Cleveland airport ready to fly to Vegas for Evo when the flight is canceled due to a nationwide Frontier outage. Ooh, I hope they're able to reschedule something.
Yeah, I hope you're able to get out there still. I think Sean flew Spirit, so I hope he was able to get out there. But I hope everyone is able to make it out if you're trying to get out there.
Yeah. Hey, if you're stuck at the airport still, just go over to Great Lakes Brewery, get yourself an Elliot Ness or something. Just relax.
Yeah, there's Great Lakes Brewery and that Bar Simon right next to each other. So pick one or the other.
Mr. Pod Rage says, Mikey, stopped by Birdfish on the way to a show in Cleveland. Oh, nice. Great brews and record selection. Didn't get lucky like you with some video game tunes, but went home with Adam's Grove by MC Hammer. Cheers.
Hell yeah.
Great. Yeah, shout out to Birdfish in Columbiana. I think I'm actually going there Saturday. Always a very good time. it's nice because like they don't have a kitchen, but they always, especially on like the weekends, will have a food truck there of some kind, so you can eat.
That sounds
They
incredible.
have a ton of pinball games. That's where I was playing the Jaws game, right? That I raved about. And they always, I talked about some of the theme stuff they do before. That's fun. Like they did a big Mario Day thing. They did a big Star Wars Day thing. They did the Lebowski, and they even did Anthony Bourdain Day the last time I was there. So always fun stuff, and they always have special beers for those things. And then Justin Weatherman says, I'm buying a Switch for my dad. Games-wise, going with Breath of the Wild, Hades, and Mario Wonder. What do you think are the best dad games? All right, Jeff, what's the best dad game for Switch?
Yeah, those are pretty good. You could also, I mean, listen, it's going to vary from dad to dad, of course, but the Mud Runner games are on Switch, and they run pretty well. So maybe get Mud Runner. I would get Snow Runner. I think Snow Runner's on there as well. It's probably the ideal one. Maybe look at some reviews, see how Expeditions runs if he's maybe more limited in terms of time, and you just want something that's a little bit more bite size. That would be great.
Yeah. If your dad likes Breath of the Wild and Mario Wonder, I'm sure Mario Odyssey would still hit. Everybody likes Mario Odyssey. That's just a game for everybody.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's see here now. B. Traven says, you hear that Nintendo makes it post-Melee games less competitive to discourage third-party tournaments and people clinging to old releases? Oh, have you heard?
Yeah, people have been mentioning this to me about like when I brought up the leaderboards. Several people have pointed out this theory that people think has been confirmed, maybe, and some people aren't sure.
Man, Melee was a long time ago, and they have ebbs and flows. Like when Smash 4 and Ultimate were coming out, like they were doing stuff. They even brought back the Nintendo World Championship branding at one point.
Right, and also if they were trying to make games less competitive to discourage third-party tournaments, this game does not succeed at that just because it doesn't have leaderboards. Like, if anything, a third-party tournament makes more sense because you don't have leaderboards, because you want to get people together and have a competition. So I get this, and I definitely, Nintendo does feel like the kind of company that would overreact and have some sort of mandate in place that would explain some of the stuff, maybe. To me, I feel like the more likely mandate is we make family party games. And this game needs to feel like a family party game and not some online competitive game for that reason.
Yeah, it might make sense. Cajun Goat says, are you guys looking forward to the Indiana Jones game? I've been following it, and it looks like it could be the biggest indie game this year.
Oh, Jesus.
Hey, I am. I'm very excited. I like Indiana Jones.
I love Indiana
think the
Jones,
game
yeah.
looks good. Machine Games. There's two of them. Machine Head. Which one's this?
Machine Head was the Bush song that got brought up on Voicemail Dump Truck today that I listened to and the guy listened to while mowing his lawn.
There we go.
So, yeah.
Thank you. I was thinking about this. It's kind of funny how this game's been positioned as opposed to Starfield last year, where it seems like Starfield are pushing very, very hard. This one a little bit less so, but it's still their kind of, I guess it's not their big fall game anymore. Maybe that's why. Their big fall game is Call of Duty.
Yes, I think that's part of it. Part of it is just like this is how games get marketed now. Astrobot does have a release date, but they haven't like really gone all out with that. They have isn't there another game they have though? Oh, they have that Lego Horizons game, and while that's clearly not the biggest thing in the world, that doesn't have a release date. They aren't talking about it beyond what they talked about at Summer Game Fest. They just kind of wait until much closer before they really start marketing these things. And honestly, Bethesda started that with Fallout 4. So I think that they are happy to save their money on marketing and wait till it gets a lot closer and then go all out. But
Indiana Jones still doesn't actually have a specific release date. It's still just 2024.
Most of these games in the late holiday don't. It's crazy, but that's
right.
This is the way things work these days.
Avowed.
Yep. Yeah. I'm very excited about it. I love machine games. I love Indiana Jones, and I love that the game is first person because I really enjoyed that whip game that I can never remember, like the Temple running game, but that's not Temple Run. That was a first person like whipping game where you can whip onto stuff and swing, and it worked really well. And I think this team's going to nail that stuff. And I really thought that cinematic that they showed was a lot of fun and kind of right up my alley. So anytime you got a Nazi catch on
Phantom
fire,
Abyss.
that's great. Phantom Abyss. Thank you, Chat. Thank you.
That's it for Super Chats for now, everyone. But if you want to send more in, we will read them before the end of the show. Thank you for the support, everybody. We appreciate it.
Okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to take another quick break just real fast to get set up. We're going to do a closest to the messy pen because we have Bop here. We're going to do that right after this. All right, everybody watching live, we appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll get right back into it as I get set up here. Where Mike goes, we just can't do anything about him.
Yeah.
All right, how do I do this? All right, let's pick that.
How do I do this? I guess I just share my PowerPoint.
Yeah, if you could share the PowerPoint as like a window in Discord, that should be good. All right, there's that.
That's perfect.
Okay, Mike. All right.
There he is. There he goes. There goes my hero.
There goes my hero.
All right, there it is. Thank you. And then
Jeff, I'm a little bummed we're not doing a Mount Rushmore of sports like you said we would.
I know. We'll get around to that eventually. We'll get our revenge.
Didn't we do Oh, I thought you meant sports games. Like, didn't we do that already?
No.
Right. It's actual sports.
That podcast episode was incredible to hear them, like, why they chose those games. Oh, it was so good.
I couldn't do it.
I like those guys, even though they're at Barstool, and I don't like Barstool overall. PFT Commodore is maybe one of the best like sports podcasters ever in terms of the way that he can take like a trope that all like guys on ESPN do and turn it on its head immediately. He's just really sharp. All right, let's see here. Let me go like this. Show my camera. And then turn off all non-video participants and then grid it up. And there we go. Do-do-do-do. Where is that? Is that not like... Oh, it's not showing up. Okay. There we go. Okay. It's coming up right now. Don't everybody vamp for me at once. I appreciate that.
Sorry. Look, we're offline. It's fine. I'll play my flute. Oh, there you go.
There.
It is funny. I will say, you two, I share a special kind of hobby with both of you. Mike, I grew up in Orlando, and I'm a big theme park fan. So like 90s Disney obviously has been great content for me. But then Jeff, I also have an Ambernick SP, and I'm getting the Ioneo Flip DS this month.
Man.
So it's like, it's really funny that you two both hit like super niche hobbies for me.
I think we're just men of the people. That's how it goes. All right, I'm set up. I'll bring us back in.
Cool.
All right, do it.
Sweet.
All right, we are back, and don't be alarmed. We are going to do a game, and it's not going to be hosted by Turbo Sean. Instead, one of our other mods, Benji Bop, is here, who actually puts these games together for us to host. Benji Bop, I appreciate it. The show is now yours.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. Hello, everyone. In my never-ending thirst for power, I have disposed of Turbo Sean
well done.
So that I can finally present my own game show, Closest to the Messy Pin, Volume 24, presented by Benji Bop, powered by Metacritic, a Bop original.
We've done 24 of these? That's crazy.
Yeah, I try to go back and see when the last one was. It was like sometime in May. I'm pretty sure we're at 24. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
It's been a lot either way.
It's either 23 or 24. And there's also like the special edition, so we're actually closer to 30.
All right, then.
Anyway, it has been a while, so just a refresher on the rules. Every round, the players will be given a certified retro game, aka older than 10 years. The goal is to predict the game's Metacritic score, and we're using a closest to the pin system, so you can be above or below. As long as you are close to the number, you will get points either way. Lowest score wins. If you guess the exact number, deduct 5 points from your score. And of course, the new rule as suggested by AJ Minotti and read into law by executive producer Benji Bop. Rounds 2 through 5, the current leader has to go first.
Makes
now,
sense.
I have done my homework, and I did go back to May and look at who won. And Mike, if you remember, you won 31-3 because you got 2 right, and you had like your best game ever.
We don't have
Maybe we shouldn't play this game anymore. Maybe it's done.
I agree for different reasons.
So on that note, Mike, you will be going first in round number 1, which will be Geometry Wars Retro Evolved 2 for the Xbox 360. Release date July 30th, 2008, based on 52 critic reviews.
I also think I already know the theme.
People. Oh, I get it. I think I do too. Now. People
I
really
whip it up fast, okay?
I like it. This is good. This is going to help us for the next segment. Yeah, people really like Geometry Wars. Retro is Retro Evolved 2 different from Geometry Wars 2? Is this not just Geometry Wars 2? I think it's Geometry Wars 2,
and I don't know why I'm helping you.
Yeah, people really like it. Like,
and while he's thinking, just so people know, like it is the simple answer to this. What this game is: golf rules. You're trying to get the lowest, trying to get the closest.
I'm gonna go with a 90. I think this game got a pretty good Metacritic score.
That is kind of what my thinking was too, Mike. That's like people really liked it, but how high could it really be? But I think people were definitely savvy to Geometry Wars by this point, and there would have been that self-selection bias of people who like Geometry Wars being the ones to review this game. But I'm gonna like kind of go for it and hope. I don't know. I'm gonna go with an 89.
Okay.
My brain kind of broke for a second because usually I don't do this. So I was listening, be like, hey, why isn't the score updated? And,
hey, you got it. It's right there.
Yeah. So I also can't say anything because I actually know the scores. So I don't want to
right.
Okay.
You just
influence either way.
You're doing a good job.
However, one of you might have been on the money. It's Mike with the 90.
Damn it.
Off where he left off.
I want to say this is the one time where I was really close to thinking I should just do 90 as well. I should just, because I'm like, I think that's right. That sounded so good. And I'm like, if I would have gone first, I would have said 90.
This is fantastic.
That sucks.
Great.
It's the favorite rule we never actually enact.
We have used it once.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, you're right. That's true. We did use it once. All right. Well, Mike, because you're at -5, you will go next on game number 2, Super Meat Boy for the Xbox 360, release date October 20th, 2010, based on 51 critic reviews.
Okay, interesting. Another game people really liked. I don't know if it's quite Geometry Wars levels. I think I'll go more of an 87 for Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good as well. I feel like I can't go too far away from this one again. Even though I'm pretty far back, I kind of have to stay in this range because I think that's right. This time I'll go up one. I'm gonna go with 88.
Yeah.
Right. 88. Okay. Well, there are certain things when I make this game, I try and balance the scores and do all these different things so that it's hard to predict, and obviously different age range or like time periods, but this week I kind of just whipped it up fast, and for the first time ever, we have a repeat score of 90.
Wow.
So
Okay.
Jeff, you are 2 away.
Shit.
Mike, you are 3.
All right.
Okay. Interesting, man. 90 for some people. Good for it.
Hey, Super Meat Boy
That was
really
higher than I
loved.
thought.
Yes.
It's weird that the sequel for it is an auto runner that people don't like as much.
Well, yeah. It's weird, but also, yeah, it's bad. Okay, man, I gotta make some moves here. I only got 3 games left.
Yeah, you are up -2 to 3, and you will guess first once again in game number 3, which is Trials HD for the Xbox 360. Release date August 12th, 2009, based on 51 critic reviews.
Man, I feel like we're hovering around the same frame here, although maybe not as high. Again, maybe this time is more in that 87 range. Maybe I feel better about 87. Well, maybe even a little bit lower. I don't know, because this game's harder than those other ones in a lot of ways. So maybe some people would have got frustrated. Like my niece used to say. I'll go with an 86 for Trials HD.
Damn it. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of thinking along the same lines as Mike as he was saying that aloud, where it's like, well, same range, but I think I was kind of thinking towards an 85, but that doesn't really give me much to work with here. I have to go with an 85 and hope that I'm dead on. So 85, please.
Okay. Yeah, this, it's also funny that the first 3 games all released within a year of each other. I mean, this is like Prime 360, Live Arcade, know.
Man,
that's when we were getting leaderboards.
That's right. That was
really
good days of Xbox Live.
But there can only be one winner of game number 3. I don't remember what the score is, so let's find out. It's an 86. Oh, no.
Oh,
Mike
man.
is on fire once again.
Oh, my God. I'm so far. Whoa. Mike, you feeling good?
Easy.
It's the Sky Rizzy. Oh, no. He's juicing. He's juicing. This is not fair. Drug test.
Mike, I will need a cup of your piss at the end of this episode. Please seal it tightly so that it does not get lost in the mail.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Well, with a score of -7-4, Mike, you are still in a very comfortable lead. And now we go to game number 4 where, hey, this one might be good for you. Dance Dance Revolution Disney Channel Edition for the PlayStation 2, January 8th, 2008 release date, based on a brave 9 critic reviews.
Okay, this is different from like that PS1 Disney remix. This is, I assume, literally like teeny bopper songs, which I can't imagine critics enjoyed very much. But I don't like how mean for can they be. This could be a chance for Jeff to catch up. I'll be basic and safe here and say, well, again, 70 seems high, because how much could video game reviewers really enjoy Disney Channel music? They would
Shut
hate
up and
it
pick a score.
Remember how much Dan
Rush, don't think so much.
Remember how much Dan Reichert didn't
Stop
even
letting the Sky Rizzy take you over.
I'm gonna say a 67.
You son of a bitch. God damn you, Mike. I'm like, I'll do a 65 score, and that'll give me a good chance just in case. I guess I got to go in the other direction and hope, because it's not going to be like that much lower than that. Like, even if, because it's DDR, they're not going to like screw up the basics, I don't think. I'm going to go, I'll go with a, let's see, how many points do I need? I'll just go with that. I'll go with a 78. It's kind of high, but whatever.
78.
Yep.
Let's see it. Maybe it's great.
Listen, if I had my way, I would have gone with a 65, but a 78 is what I need.
That Hannah Montana shit slapped. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, just like Miley Cyrus says, it's the climb. And Jeff, your points are climbing because we got a 61.
Jesus Christ.
The patented Bop curveball strikes again. And in Mike's favor, as he is still in the negatives. Oh, wait, that was the wrong way. So
okay,
he is sitting at -1.
That's great. Good golf score.
Yeah. Pretty decent golf score, yeah.
If you were playing in the British Open right now, you'd be like top 5 because they are not scoring well.
In the money.
All right, fantastic. Okay. I feel good.
Final game. I will editor's note for myself. I could have done another leaderboard game. However, this week is very important to me. It is a revival of one of the best franchises of all time. Of course, I'm talking about college football. NCAA 13 is game number 5 for the Xbox 360. Release date July 10, 2012, based on 20 critic reviews.
You could catch up here, Jeff. I really know very little about what people thought of these games. I recall that they're being criticized for kind of just being pretty light reskins of that year's Madden game at this point towards the end here. So I'm going to guess there's not a ton of enthusiasm for them, but how bad can it be? I'll do a 72.
Yeah, I don't really think I have a chance here. Yeah, because there's no, I'd have to get it direct. I have to be like, 15 away, 16 away, and also dead on. And that's my best hope, because I don't think you're 2 points off in any direction.
Make it closer, get your dignity back, because right now I'm creaming you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what choice did I have last round? Okay, let's see here. I guess I will go with a, let's just hope for the best and say an 88.
Okay.
I like it.
I mean,
if I was reviewing the game, I would be giving it an 88.
Of course.
However, these 20 critics, they disagreed. They gave it a 76.
Yeah,
Mike.
That sounds about right. Yep.
Once again, doing very well.
Well done, Mike.
Woo! We did it. Come on out, everybody. Let's celebrate. We did it, everybody. Yeah,
oh, there they are.
Yeah, we got.
And there is your final score. Mike with 3, Jeff with 33, almost an identical score to last game, which was 31-3.
Well, once you start getting a hole in this game, you got to make moves, and then when it goes bad, it goes real bad.
Yeah, you did the same strategy of like doing the math, and I think that just like has not worked.
You should just play to win. You're trying to play 3D chess.
No, that is playing to win. What do you mean? Try to like.
If you get it right, it's a -5.
I never think like that. And look at me. I hang
Yeah,
out with Echo
you've won
and
twice in a
Rocket
row.
Knight.
Yeah, oh shit. Okay, I didn't think about that. You get to hang out with Echo and Rocket Knight. All right, thank you so much for that, Bob. What we're gonna do now is I'll get set up real quick for this because this is just right over here, and we're gonna pick. We're gonna do a Mount Rushmore of leaderboard games. Mike, why don't you explain what we do here with this?
Yeah, so Jeff and I are going to kind of nominate a bunch of games that we think would be the most emblematic of this category. Not necessarily the best. Well, sometimes quality is a pretty big marker, and this one more so than others, I think that's going to matter quite a bit. By leaderboard games, if you don't know what that means, it's games that kind of have built-in leaderboards, and I think we mean online ones, right? Like, you know, if you had some port of Pac-Man as a kid where you had a leaderboard, that may not be exactly what we're talking about here. Who knows? We'll see. But Jeff and I are going to nominate some. We'll have our podcast producers also give us some ideas, and then we'll take a kind of a short list here, and we'll pick 4 games from that.
Yep, sounds good. And Mike, why don't you start us off while I get the dot going as well?
Well, I got to go with, I think, probably my favorite of all of these kind of games, and one that I just really dove into. It is one that kind of took a game that I probably would have liked a lot and made it something more special for me. And it is Neon White, a game that I got so deep into, to the point where I got my overall time down to where I got in the top 100. It was 100, but still. I felt really good about that. It seemed impressive at the time, and it is level-based, right? And there's a lot of levels. And for people who don't know, it's kind of a first-person action platforming thing where a lot of your movement abilities are also your attacking abilities, and you have to kind of kill all the enemies while you're doing the run. So it's very kinetic, very fun stuff. And there are a lot of interesting ways you can kind of find shortcuts. And what I was doing sometimes even was there's a glitch where you can kind of teleport through the wall if you hit just the right pixel. So it's let's keep trying this until we can find that pixel. That stuff was super fun. It was really great, especially because it was a cumulative thing for me. And it was fun when I was competing with you and Dan, and it was specific levels. It was just really getting that time down. But it was also fun. It was I need to overall find 30 seconds to shave.
Right, across all these levels, yeah.
What levels am I really going to think I can actually find some of that time in, right? So it was super fun for that, because the game had some other flaws. I didn't necessarily love the story stuff, right? But this more than made up for all of that, just how much fun it was going through and doing this leaderboard experience. And it was just really made with that stuff in mind.
Yep, and it shows just how much you can do when you're thinking that way from the beginning. So, like you said, the entire game has this massive leaderboard that is very different than the individual level leaderboards, and both of those are viable ways to play that game and kind of serve a different audience in some ways. So yeah, Neon White is fantastic. I think I will go with another more recent one for my first one here. I'll go with Astro's Playroom. That idea of having a platforming game and then taking sections of the levels from the main platforming game and turning those into dedicated speedruns, having just a handful of those. So there's 8 of them. And then at the same time having each of those have their own times, their own speedrun leaderboards, and then having a global leaderboard for all 8 put together. Very similar idea and just executed so well. And it's also it's such a smaller version of what Neon White was doing that it was much more manageable. So you could really hone in on some of these levels. And a 3D platformer is surprisingly complicated enough that there is just always kind of this extra edge of if you just cut one corner a little bit closer, you can save that fraction of a second, and that stuff adds up really fast. And yeah, just it felt really good. Of course, it helps that Astro is a fun game to play. Not as thrilling as Neon White necessarily, but Astro definitely just is solid, and it becomes thrilling in these speedrun chases.
Yeah, this was, this little kind of pack-in game thing that normally would take you a few hours to play through and beat. And this added so much extra play time.
Yeah, I played a ton of this game because of that,
right?
yes.
Some of the first streaming I ever did before I even was set up for it, like I was just streaming straight on Twitch because I was just doing that mountain run over and over, and it was so exhilarating. It was fun because it was like, oh yeah, we're like actually using glitches and stuff, and like, oh, like over here there's like a little bit of geometry where you can actually kind of stand on it and you can do a double jump again. It felt so cool pulling that stuff off. It was like a ton of fun.
Right, learning the tricks from watching other people do it on YouTube and stuff like that, and sharing that tech with one another, and getting some speedrunners involved, and getting Dan involved. And that's when I first really started talking to Dan and stuff. It was pretty cool.
I think I will bring up Geometry Wars Retro Evolved 2. It was one of the first times I really was ever seeing or thinking about online leaderboards. Even though I didn't dive into a lot, I just remember the excitement and everybody talking about it and comparing these things. And it was fun. Like, okay, it just automatically tells me how good I'm doing compared to my friends. It's part of what made the Xbox 360 such a good console, is that it was really smart and just making a lot of the things we take for granted now standard, right? It's good stuff. I know you played this one a lot.
Yeah, I played a ton of this. It has the different modes in there, but again, not so many modes that it's overwhelming. Something that these games can occasionally be guilty of like really spreading out the love, and kind of what that does is it diminishes some of these smaller modes. That's still going to happen even when you have, I think it had like, maybe had 8 modes, maybe 4. I think it was probably 8. But like playing pacifism and not being able to shoot, but just having these gates you had to go through, and trying to just nail the movement of going around attracting these enemies so they'll get in your sort of wake and follow your gravity around, and being able to drag them in, and then like sort of skirting closer to them as you're about to go through one of these exploding gates, hitting the exploding gate and watching the feeling of just having so many of them get caught up in that explosion and dying, and then you get all the experience or the points from that. It was just incredible. It's such a good mode, and then all the other modes are great as well. Just Geometry Wars is fantastic.
All right.
Yes. Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 Deluxe. There was the one that let me make sure I'm thinking. Which one am I thinking of?
Right. I remember that. It's very similar, kind of like the same time frame as Geometry Wars.
Yes. And this is like where like they had Pac-Man Championship Edition, the first one. It was like really solid. They just really improved it with the second one, where they had this 5-minute championship. Where you try to do as much as you can in 5 minutes, and if you are doing things perfectly and you are not getting hit by the ghosts ever, and you're chomping up as many ghosts as you can when you do have a power pellet, you could just get these multipliers that just increase so much, and in those last few seconds you can make a huge leap on the leaderboard. And that's one of the first times where it's like, this game, a lot of people are playing this game, and I was able to get into like the top 1,000 on the leaderboard, and it just felt incredible. And it was, again, it's like when this is happening, your brain shuts off, it's just you in the game, and it's really powerful stuff.
I do think so. Championship Edition 2 was the first one that did it. I think Championship Edition DX Plus was sequel that also was popular.
Yeah, we'll go with that one.
Yeah. So, I mean, at this point, I think we could throw out some more, but I bet the podcast producers will help us out.
That sounds right.
Kind of run this off. Why don't we go over to them?
Sounds good. I think I have that ready to go right now. Liwoo starts us off with Neon White, and of course that was the first one to get up there for us. Firehair 12,000 echoes that as well with Neon White. Neon White also just came to Xbox. Everybody, I think it might be on Game Pass. Yeah. So
look at this cool soundtrack package. Yeah, that game has a great soundtrack. I still kind of hear that like shoot for the heavens or whatever. I hear that in my head every once in a while.
Definitely.
Still.
Yeah, very Dreamcast coded. Spelunky, which I never really did any of the leaderboard stuff on Spelunky. That was always one where it was like just kind of challenging to get through the game for me. I never truly fell in love with Spelunky, so that's a big part of it.
And I never could get into Spelunky for some reason. I don't know.
Always Be Clothing /Corgi says Astro's Playroom. Correct.
Oh, so good. So good. Man, I can't wait for Astrobot. Astrobot's going to be so good.
Eden is experiencing Evo FOMO says Trackmania. Another one I've never really gotten into. I should. It seems like it would scratch the Trials itch for me.
Right, and this is one I know a lot of people like, and I think it's very leaderboard focused. I think it might be a strong one, even if we haven't played it.
Yep,
it's
definitely.
very good.
Cool.
Willow Davis says the New York Times crossword, the mini crossword, which is a leaderboard I'm actively doing right now, although I don't know why, because Lucy James is always going to win. It's still fun. I enjoy that. Like I've been saying, it's just me and Baclar kind of going back and forth with our old man times. Chaos Buckaroo says Just Cause 3. I don't remember the leaderboards in Just Cause 3. How'd that
Interesting.
work?
I wonder if it's like destroying bases in a certain amount of time. I mean, there's a lot of things that could be leaderboard in that game, so having that is smart.
Yeah, I'll see if someone brings up the other one I'm thinking of that this reminds me of. But Freedom McLiberty Ball says Diablo 2.
Yeah, it's interesting because like season content in Diablo is a big part of those games, and almost never really how I think about playing those games necessarily. It has never been my approach. I kind of just play them and like, I'm going to level up a class with a friend and do that. But there is a whole leaderboard, seasonal thing there that a lot of people are into with those games.
That's cool. Let's see here. Input name here says Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which I think this is like the time trials sort of thing. And you can have like shared ghost data and things like that. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
How robust is it? Like, do you literally see an actual leaderboard with your friends?
I've not done much of this. Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of makes me curious to maybe go check that out, but I have not done a lot of that.
Interesting.
Let's see. JD Camp says chess.com. Yeah, you could be the number one chess player in the world. Just go for it.
Let's go.
It's right there for you. Yeah.
Here we go.
Dr. Ryan says Donkey Kong and has a picture here of Steve Wiebe from the King of Kong.
I'm his favorite video games. You know that?
Yeah, that's right. Was that a cameo or was that like just a random thing?
This was long ago. My friend was just at like CES or something, and he was there, and he tried to get Wiebe to say Mike Minotti is my favorite video gamer, and Wiebe looked at the camera and goes, Mike Minotti is my favorite video game. And that video somewhere. It always makes me laugh.
That's perfect. Two-time champ Beef Hammer says Astros Playroom. There you go.
Yeah.
The Elden Ring Wolf 5 says speedrunning Super Mario 64, which, hey, not a bad idea.
I still gotta have Sean teach me that 16-star route.
We'll do that on Giant Bomb because Dan wants to do that too, and I do too as well. Joy Z says Cruisin' USA in the arcade. Yeah, you have any like arcade games that come to mind for like actually trying to get on the leaderboards?
I mean, like a lot of them can, right?
Sure, yeah.
But again, it's like I always never really took those seriously because like all the arcades here, I just felt like they would get unplugged and those leaderboards would change constantly. Anyways, I never took them too seriously. Same. It was fun to put my name in, is how I felt about it.
For sure. My girlfriend in high school, her dad had a pinball machine in the basement, and that was one that I was like, okay, well, I know this is going to be here, so I'll try to get a higher and higher score. And they had like a whiteboard or something. And eventually I did have the highest score on that, and that was fun. Screaming Madden has Madden 23 here, which
that's incredible.
Yeah, there you go. I'm trying to see how they actually do this. It's like blitz percentage. Is that how it's rated? Oh, okay, yeah. Unique defensive plays. Cool. That's a good leaderboard right there.
Something to shoot for.
Yep. Boomer will destroy Ganondorf has Geometry Wars here. That's man. That's right. That's right. I think these leaderboards did get screwed by like cheaters to the point where there's like this person has 8. What is that? Quintillion? Something maybe more than
something
that.
ridiculous. Oh no.
Yep. Teriyaki Blues says Star Fox 64. God, that's right. You could like. They counted your hits in that game. Look at that.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Foxhead is number 1 with 100 hits. Nick Turbo says Pac-Man.
Just Pac-Man, it looks like to
Pac-Man.
me.
Yeah, and I definitely had, after a lot of these games came out, I would do a thing on Twitter where we call it Be a Dick mode, where we'd like, okay, this week we're all going to try to set the highest score in something like Frogger. And we would play Frogger and try to set the high score in that. So we definitely had examples of playing these old arcade games for high scores. But there's something a little bit better when it's like built in. And like what Geometry Wars does is you can like see the name of the person above you in the top left. And that rules. Let's see. Nolan has like Guitar Hero, I think. Yeah.
This would be Guitar Hero. Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. I think I usually played it more like, okay, if I get 5 stars, I'm happy. And then, maybe I think about the score a little bit beyond that. But it was good. It was there.
Tober says Pac-Man Championship Edition DX Plus. That's the one we have up there, I think. I might put a 2 in there, but yes, that's what we were thinking of. Enemy Mouse says Super Meat Boy. Yeah, that was one where it's an example of kind of what happened to me with Neon White, where I would fixate on so many specific levels that I don't think I ever actually ended up beating Super Meat Boy. If I did, because I would go to there's Dark World stages and stuff like that, and they get more difficult, and I would just spend hours playing a couple of levels.
It's one of the first ones I can think of that really did do the whole kind of small levels, and when you die or restart, it's incredibly quick.
Instantaneous,
right?
Yes.
Instantaneous. So it definitely kind of was a pioneer in that. It probably should be considered. Yeah.
Shoji Kodo has Trials HD, which is definitely something I would consider. I would probably put Trials Evolution up there, I think. But yeah, I think that's right. But yeah, one of these Trials games. The Trials games are so good for leaderboard chasing. It is such a complicated kind of platforming game, trying to get these motorcycles to behave in a way to get over a particularly difficult jump. And you get to a point where some of these longer, more complicated levels have several jumps you have to nail perfectly. And getting a run where you get all of those in a row and it actually feels good and you didn't crash, so you can be at the top of the leaderboard without a penalty. Those are miraculous events. It feels really good to play those games.
But I think Super Meat Boy and Trials HD also both just big boy versions of what were Flash games originally.
Oh yeah, totally.
And it's interesting how so much of the early indie scene and Xbox Live Arcade was just that, right? Behemoth was the same thing.
Kind of just spiritual successors to arcade games in a lot of ways. Stinky has Rocket League on there. I'm not sure how the leaderboards would work, but just definitely trying to climb up ladders there would be fun.
Right. And here's another game that realized that blue and orange look good together.
Yep. Burnout Paradise is also one. Literally the next one as well also has blue and orange. And this is the one I was thinking of earlier, where this has so many of those tiny leaderboards in an open world where it's okay, who can get the fastest time on this street, or who can get the highest speed on this street and stuff like that. That ruled. That was a ton of fun. Kind of wish I kind of want to just go back there and play that, but it would be more fun if a bunch of us were playing it. Maybe we could do that someday.
Yeah.
Big Tony has, let's see if I can see this here.
Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Yes.
Speedrun.com.
One of my favorite leaderboard games that I spent a lot of time trying to do. CF Bop 25 says 3D Pinball Space Cadet for Windows that had the little built-in separate window leaderboard on there.
Man,
good job on your scores there.
Somebody's had to have made an actual table of this at some point, right?
I don't know. That guy figured that'd be kind of complicated, but I bet you're right though.
I mean, come on, I would want that. Give me an actual 3D Pinball Space Cadet table. It'd be amazing.
It looks great. Vander Lyles says PGA Tour Golf 2. God, I love sports games when they're so old that they didn't have the year, but they still have sequel numbers. 2. It's the second golf game. Yeah, go for it. Then the leaderboard would literally be the leaderboard of you playing golf there. Resident Evil Cryorsis says Dance Dance Revolution. There was definitely a time when my friend got this and we were spending basically all summer at his house playing DDR and trying to get better and better scores. And that it was very fun to get good at DDR and be competitive. But we would mostly play head to head is how we would do it. And that would be a lot of fun to try to see who could get the highest score in that moment. Riz Racer Beyond says Frogger, and then has, of course, the picture of the Seinfeld episode of Frogger. But yeah, Frogger's a good one.
What's funny about that is I remember back then, I felt like mainstream media talked about video games so rarely that even the fact that even if though it was Frogger, I was like, I can't believe Seinfeld's talking about video games.
I know exactly how you feel.
I also thought. Yeah, I also think about this scene all the time whenever I'm crossing a busy street. It's incredible. I love
the hand out and everything. Yeah,
I do like Frogger. That's one of my favorite classic arcade games. It's always fun. We had a Frogger machine at our Pizza Hut when I was a kid. It's great.
Yep, Frogger just is it just plays exactly like you want it to, and it feels good. Yes. Alex has a Beat Saber on there, which when you get good at that is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But that's one where it's I'm kind of competing against myself to see what the most challenging stage is that I can complete.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wiesman has Ski Free, which had a similar thing to 3D Space Cadet, the pinball table. Bayleaf Moon has Banjo Kazooie? Or is that Banjo Tooie? I don't know.
I think it's Banjo Kazooie.
Disaster by Leia says, is this a Guitar Hero, like a later Guitar Hero?
It looks like a Guitar Hero 2 situation, perhaps,
That
to
is
me.
Rock Band.
That is Rock Band. Okay.
Shit.
Wow.
Never mind. Yeah, right. It's Rock Band. Thank you, Bob. I'm glad you're here.
Yep.
Like always.
Lausine says Astrobot. Well, probably referencing Astro's Playroom. Duminal Crossing says Metroid Prime Pinball.
Oh God, I want to play some Metro Prime Pinball again so bad.
Maybe we can do some leaderboard
good.
chasing on that. That would be fun.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That'd be a good time.
That'd be
All
into
right.
it.
Hammond of Texas says Mrs. Explosion Man. Miss Explosion Man, excuse me.
Man, haven't thought about Miss Explosion Man in a while.
I know.
Wow.
I loved Explosion Man, and I think I played some Miss Explosion Man. They were both very good.
There's a series I have not considered in a
Those are
good amount
like
of time.
platformers where like the way like you can get around is you can run, but your character can also explode, and that helps you get to higher platforms. It's a good time. Vision 49 says Mirror's Edge. The speed run built right into the game.
Yeah, God, I love Mirror's Edge. That throws me for a loop still. Dan Reicher doesn't like Mirror's Edge. I wonder if that's what he would change his mind on today.
Probably.
or something. Yeah. Poof. God, what a great game. I don't know why. Like, the further I get away from the 360 era, like, I think my 2 favorites used to be very easily BioShock and Red Dead Redemption 1. I still really, really, really like those games. But, like, Mirror's Edge it only ever kind of increases in my estimation. There's something so pure about that game. And yeah, like the leaderboard experience is very good in that. So
I bet that'd be a fun game to just speed run in general as well.
Yep.
Lenny Astro Dick Timber says Pac-Man, I believe. It could be Miss Pac-Man, but I think it's Pac-Man.
Oh, Pac-Man.
Yep, Pac-Man's a good one. Pac-Man's one where it's like I would love the idea of like playing the original one for score chasing, but realizing that there's like an optimal way to play to understand that the game is solved. Often discourages me, even though, of course, I'm never going to be that good at it.
You'd want to do Miss Pac-Man instead, I think.
Yep. B says Diablo 2. I get how is this working? Is it like getting, like I see it's like ranked by experience points?
Yeah, again, like I never really played the game that way, so I don't entirely know exactly how it does work, to be honest. I know like in Diablo 3, because there was some kind of like dungeon system that would get progressively harder. So it was like, what like level did you get in your rifts or whatever it was, perhaps. Again, wasn't really ever how I played these games.
Interesting. Let's see here. Zyark says Hitman, which, yeah, that does. There's a great score system in there. And trying to like, I always do realize like once I get through a level, I'll be like, oh yeah, I see my friend's scores. I'm going to go in there and try to do a perfect run and never be seen, like Silent Assassin and all that stuff. And like Silent Assassin in the suit without ever changing your clothes.
Right.
Things like that. And that's a lot of fun. I have a good time with that.
I do with those games, at least the way I play, it's like there's so many just challenges to do that I usually am just doing those.
Sure.
Instead of like thinking like I gotta beat my friend's time necessarily.
Right, but it is one of those options. It's like, oh yeah, that's in there as well, and it's very good. It's it is about time obviously, but it's also about just like playing the most optimal way and avoiding detection, things like that.
I would enjoy doing a Silent Assassin suit only like full run of World Assassination. It'd be so fun.
That'd be
Such
great.
a good game.
Is that Sheikh Zanzibar?
Is that Shake Zanzibar? You see Shake Zanzibar? That guy's crazy. Adam Asleep says Mario Golf World Tour. That the servers are off 3DS, right?
I don't.
You know what? Doesn't matter
remember.
because there's the fan servers you can log into by using that DNS thing. We should
Yeah.
do a tournament of Mario Golf World Tour. That game rules. Michael Riley says Nintendo World Championships NES Edition, and then crosses it out because
Wow.
it has the one leaderboard in there.
It's art.
Yeah, that says something, man. Makes you think. Boy, if it just had like a few more leaderboards, like, okay, a leaderboard for all of like NES or just any single thing that had your friends on there, that would be great.
Weird.
Matt in the Rare Zinless Zone says says Trackmania, but hop on Trackmania. Yeah, Trackmania does look incredible. It looks very similar to Trials.
It's weird we never played that game. It looks very fun.
Yeah, Trials was just like whenever I got an urge for a game like this, I just go to Trials instead. I mean, I know they're not exactly the same, but the same concept in my brain. Daniel says Neon White. Let's see. And then Christian says Devil Daggers. That's a good one, Christian. I never could get good enough at Devil Daggers, though.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I never played the
challenging
sequel.
to me.
The sequel is not that good, I think.
Yeah, sequel's
I heard it's not.
It's just got such a very specific scoring system that it requires you to play it its way, and I could never get on its wavelength. And then I would watch some people who were at the top of the leaderboard, and it looked like they had turned into gods. Like the way that they were playing that game, it was nuts. All right, Mike. I'm gonna go back to the list, and I'm going to add Trials Evolution. What was? Oh yeah, Trackmania.
Super Meat Boy. I think Burnout Paradise. Those are consideration.
Yes.
And perhaps Mirror's Edge as well. What do you think about all the music games? What do you want to do about those? Because it's just like not how I ever really played those games, but I think those were a big deal. They mattered.
Yeah. What would be like the top one to put in there? Because like part of me.
Rock Band.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, Rock Band.
It is weird because it could be a lot of them, right? It really could be.
And that's I guess
maybe Guitar Hero is number one. I don't know.
Yeah, let's go with Guitar Hero. There we go. Because that one I think I did do a little bit of leaderboard chasing in that. All right, so the short list is Neon White, Astro's Playroom, Geometry Wars Retro Evolved 2, Pac-Man Championship Edition 2 DX or Championship DX Plus. I mean, I'm going to do that right there. Trials Evolution, Trackmania, Super Meat Boy, Burnout Paradise, Mirror's Edge, Guitar Hero. Do we want to put a classic arcade game in here?
It doesn't.
I think what you said about like the fact that you always thought your times were going to get reset kind of meant that unless you were on a global level, it didn't matter so much. In fact, it didn't matter. Like your scores were not going to be
what
permanent.
It felt like to me. Yeah.
So. And then I guess maybe if you had a regular place that you could count on to keep your scores, I don't know, but I just don't think many people had that experience. Okay. For me, I think I think Neon White is definitely up there.
Yeah. I think Astro's Playroom is just like, it's so important to Game Mess lore at this point that it should be on.
Right. And I do honestly think it's maybe the platonic ideal of what speedrunning should be like. Going forward, I think every 3D platformer should have the exact same mode that Astro's Playroom did, almost verbatim, almost point for point. It should be 8 levels, maybe no motion control levels, but whatever. Otherwise, yes.
It would make every game like that better. A couple things from chat. First off, in terms of classic arcade, some people are upset about Donkey Kong, but it's that's because of that movie, right? Because they're not because I competed in it, not because you competed in it.
And I could see an argument for watching those people compete in it, and that movie was incredible. But I don't know. I feel like if you need a documentary team to discover the value of the leaderboard chase, I think that's asking a bit much.
Yeah. Tonex Pro Skater came up from chat that no one else really mentioned. I don't know if
I did a ton of that at Tonex Pro Skater 2 on the Dreamcast with my friends.
Not on the 64?
Well, Tonex Pro Skater 2. That was, come on, I could play that on the N64.
That would be gross to play on 64.
Well, it felt good on N64, and I did play that on N64. But when I was with my friends, we were playing the Dreamcast version. Those C buttons are just fine, Mike. People overstate the problem. Okay. Yeah, Tonex Pro Skater, I think it's definitely worth calling out here, but I don't think it's going to make the final list.
I mean, I do think there's something about being online that is kind of better for your leaderboards.
And I think that's kind of what we were almost getting at when we were talking about leaderboard games is online leaderboards to a certain extent. And yeah, it's a huge advantage, and I think that a lot of these games do take advantage of that. Okay, this is tough at this point. I want either Pac-Man or Geometry Wars up there, I think.
Yeah, I definitely think one of them. I think Geometry Wars kind of did it first and similarly, so maybe Geometry Wars?
Maybe Geometry Wars, yeah. I think Pac-Man might be a slightly more, maybe not better, but more pure, but only slightly, and I think you're right. The Geometry Wars being first means that it's... Gonna go up here.
But now Fire saying that he thinks Pac-Man did it first. Oh no, who did it first?
Oh yeah, shit. I think Geometry Wars 1 was right there at the launch of the 360, right?
That's why I was thrown off. Even in Messy Pin was Geometry Wars Retro Evolved 2 2008. I was like, I thought Geometry Wars was one of the first 360 arcade games, but maybe that first one didn't have the leaderboard thing.
I think it did.
Oh, Fire's just talking about original Pac-Man. No, fuck that. Okay, we're good. Yeah, two Geometry Wars. You got us.
All right. Let's see here. And then, I don't know, because I could put up Trials Evolution. I could put up, that's the one I would put up next. But what are you thinking?
Yeah. like not Mirror's Edge. It's so similar to Neon White, and Neon White's like a game built more around it for me. Super Meat Boy is interesting because again, it's like that real small level experience that I think a lot of things would later do. Burnout Paradise, the way it was kind of built into the world is interesting also.
I think it's either Trackmania or Trials Evolution, because what those both do is you're in the stage with the ghosts you're trying to beat. And in Trackmania, it's like a bunch of ghosts of data. Like it's a ton of players all at the same time. And then in Trials Evolution, it's you can like pick like the next ghost you want to go after. And a lot of times you like want to pick number one on your friend leaderboard and just race them head to head, and or you can have your best time data and you can beat that as well. And just kind of seeing that stuff in the game was so well done, and that like feeds into the leaderboards in such a strong way. It is this peanut butter and jelly situation that it should probably be one of those.
I think it maybe should be Trackmania. I think I want to trust the community a
little bit.
Yeah, I'm
okay with that. Yes, I think so. I think to me, it sounds like that is the more popular version of that idea, even though I love Trials. I think that's kind of what's happening here. What's going on? There we go.
I saw that C, by the way.
Yes. I was trying to hit Control C, and then the pinky didn't work.
It happens.
All right. This looks right to me. Any changes?
I like it.
Okay. Why don't you read our Mount Rushmore here?
The Mount Rushmore of leaderboard games is a Neon White, Astro's Playroom, Geometry Wars, Retro Evolve 2, and Trackmania.
Yep, there we go.
I like it.
Me too. Let's go ahead and
Geometry Wars is definitely the George Washington.
I think so too. There we go. I'm gonna tweet that list with just Geometry Wars showing, so people actually have to listen to the show.
It's interesting. You're smart. I saw you doing that.
I'm learning. It just took us dozens of times of doing this, but eventually I learned. All right, I feel pretty good about that.
57 episodes in, baby. Let's go.
Should we take another break, Christian?
Oh, God, I got another fucking tweet, something like, oh, the liquid death is for recovering alcoholics. It's not dumb. Oh, my God.
Why do you hate alcoholics?
He does, but he never said it out loud,
actually going to turn to the Joker.
All right, let's go ahead and take one last break. When we come back, we'll talk about what we've been playing, and then we'll get an update on what's happening in the Fantasy Critic League. Right after this.
So you're telling me you see somebody drinking liquid death, your first impulse like that's a recovering alcoholic?
That would not be mine. It would be
I think
definitely not.
I think people is looking for a reaction from you, Mike. I don't think you should listen to those people.
I think people online are pedantic and like are looking for things to be self-righteous about is what I'm thinking.
Yes, this is a bad element of what the internet brings out in people for sure. My first guess would be they ordered a water, and this is the only thing they have when you order a water, because that's what's happened to me when I had it the one time. Okay, are you guys ready to get right back into it?
Yeah. Let's wrap things up here. I'm feeling pretty sky-rizzed up.
All right, let's do it then. All right, we're back, and our Sky Rizzler needs a nappy poo. So, Mike, what have you been playing? Let's get through this.
Well, it has been NES World Championship, honestly, and I'm excited to play more of that. And the other big thing has been Final Fantasy VI, which, again, very good. But I did start Dark Souls for the first time. I think we talked about that a little bit on Less Than 10 Dogs. Even though, I'm not playing the Switch version. But I've been having fun with that. I did there's this gargoyle boss, and at first it wasn't too bad, and then a second gargoyle showed up. So that was my first this boss is taking me more than 10 tries kind of thing.
Sure.
Right, and it's
other
Dark
than that
Souls,
guy at the top of the tower, but yes.
Yeah, and the Dark Souls is a little bit meaner with the runbacks, right?
Yes.
Even though it wasn't a terrible one. I don't necessarily mind that because it does build tension, right? Maybe you're not going to make it back to the boss. Maybe you're not going to even be able to get your souls back and all that stuff.
Is the run back the kind of thing where you can run past most of the bad guys, or do you have to fight a couple?
No, at least in the specific one here, it was pretty like at one point it was a tight hallway that opened up to a room with 10 skeleton people.
Hell yeah.
But I'll fight them. Why
sure,
not?
Of course,
it's fun to fight them.
Yes,
yeah, that's the game. So I've been enjoying it. I already get what everybody sees in the game. It's a lot of fun.
Also, the run back is harder because you whenever you die, you lose your HP. Your life bar is shorter, so like it gets
What?
It gets tense. Yeah, you lose your the first time, but you lose when you're alive. When you have like, how do you say it? When you're alive, you have two states. You're alive, and then you're a zombie. And when you're a zombie, you have
I think chat's been purposely not explaining this mechanic to me. I keep asking them about it. They say, "No, that's what humanity is." That's what humanity is. Yeah, I don't know what humanity is. Yeah, Fire Hairs knows. Yeah, Remember says. Yeah. Oh no. So that's what humanity is. My max health is lower. Didn't even realize that. Incredible.
Well, there you go. This is how people find out, though.
Is high humanity good or bad? Because it was pretty high for a while.
No, you can either have humanity or not have it, because like you're like
there is a number, right? Or, I don't know. I was playing it too. I can't keep track of it.
Oh, there's a number. Yeah, there's a big number.
There's a number of humanity. All right. Maybe less humanity is worse because
you're always picking up humanity. It's like, all right, I just got 2 pieces of humanity. I must be human again, and it's like, wait, that has nothing to do with this other human.
No, you
I don't
gotta
get
kill
it.
a boss to get back your humanity.
Okay.
Yeah. To be fully
okay. Interesting knowledge to know that. Thank you.
That was kind of a big thing. Yeah, it's the same on Demon Souls, where like you're either like a ghost or you're like alive.
Interesting.
I'm like thinking, like, I was playing a little bit of Dark Souls, but I might go play Dark Souls 2 first. Actually,
you sicko.
Yeah,
you freak.
Well, so I want to like give it its best chance to like win me over, and then not have an idea of what Dark Souls is before I play Dark Souls 2. So it's like, well, I don't have these preconceived notions. Yeah, I am sick for sure. But yeah, it's been fun watching you play. You know what, FromSoft, they really do just nail it. They're just really good at this. So good stuff.
Yeah. It turns out they really did figure something out there, and it's funny to see it like from Demon Souls 1 like coming out, like being like this kind of like niche, like something that like the game journalists were talking about, right. And then just becoming the biggest game ever slowly after time. It's nice that it should work like that, right? And it's nice to see it work like that.
Well, Butrin Warlock in chat says, Jeff, I cannot recommend against that tactic enough, which just makes me want to do it more.
No, you people don't know how to talk to Jeff.
You do not know how to talk to me. I am sick. You have to know that. Yeah, same like where it's like NES World Championship and then a little bit of Dark Souls, a few other things here or there, but not much. I did play Concord.
I want to play that tomorrow because the open
live
beta
now.
is tomorrow.
Right. So if you want to,
I'm going to start installing that after this. Good,
exactly.
Good.
So yes, it's okay. I definitely don't hate it, but it's just like I've said other places, it hasn't won me over to the point where it's like it would be hard for me to get like, oh, I'm gonna go spend $40 on it, or tell friends to go spend $40 on it so they can play with me. I don't feel that way about it for sure, but I'm not coming out of it being like I hate it. I think there was parts of it where it didn't feel fun to play. I found a character that does feel fun to play, so clearly it can do that. People were like kind of going back and forth because it's like, oh, it's got Bungie pedigree. It's Bungie. And then other people were like, yeah, but it's the Bungie pedigree of people that made like the stuff that people hated the worst in Destiny 2's multiplayer mode. And that's like, oh, okay. Well, shit, I don't know anymore.
Yeah, people that made Gambit is like,
right.
Like,
yeah.
right.
Exactly. So it's whatever. I don't really care about that much. I'm going to judge this game based on what it is. And it is better than I thought it would be in some ways, and yet still kind of disappointing overall based on what little I've played.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Christian.
Oh, I play a lot of this game during the weekend. Just, I don't know. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna play Concord. And this game makes a horrible first impression because it doesn't have a tutorial or anything, at least in these betas. And the how to play doesn't really. It's just text. I read the entire thing and the how to play. It still doesn't kind of shows you very well how the game works. And this game is like, there's like two types of games: there's chess and checkers. And this game is like more chess than checkers, but like they don't tell you that. This game is like you have to play slower and like in team. And it's like, oh yeah, you have like you need to play certain type of like characters to counter this other character. And they never said that on the game. It's like, oh, it was like,
it has surprisingly hard counters, and there is a lot more going on. Like that mushroom character, like being able to build buffs across the entire map, and unless the other team is destroying that, like that can get very powerful very fast. People will learn that stuff. That's how these games work over time. So it is a little, that's why I'm like hesitant with this game, because I think it could feel very different in the next couple of weeks, or a couple of weeks after it comes out, once people fully understand it and everyone's playing it different. But as it is right now, the fundamentals, I just don't think it feels great to play.
Yeah, and you know what I kind of want to play? Overwatch 2, like, they just showed off that new character, Juno. And like, it's the first character in a while. I'm like, that character looks cool. She looks like an 80s anime, like sci-fi heroine in a lot of neat ways. It just looks like a really cool design and a really neat kit for a support character. So I'm like, ooh, I want to play Overwatch 2 again? We'll see. We'll try out. What's that?
Overwatch has ultis, unlike Concord. It's like, it feels really, you're not building to anything on that game all the time. It's like, in Overwatch, you can like turn around a match with like a really nice coordination with your team and your ultimate. This game doesn't have that. You just have to be good from the beginning. It has a combat mechanic that, of course, they don't explain. That is like crew bonuses, which means every time you play a character, that character has like a fucking buff they could give it to yourself.
Yes, and so if you change characters, you can like have a double buff or whatever, like their buff and the old buff.
Oh, so they're encouraging you to change characters.
Yeah, they encourage you, but they don't say that.
And there's some modes where you have to change characters because it's when you die. Or like the next round, I guess I don't know if it carries over between rounds, but either way.
They ban the character you just picked. Like they
ban the character you just played as if your team wins. Yes. Yes.
And the thing is, like, do you realize there's a crew manager, or like it's a crew builder, whatever?
Crew maker,
Crew maker. In this game, you can get the same character a couple of times. Like, you can get like a repeat of the character
that has a passive.
It has different passives, so you can have like 3 different of those characters, and whenever you pick that character and you win, if you have a copy of that in that crew thing, you can pick it again.
Yep.
And you won't like. But like, they don't show that.
Yeah, and I'm also like, man, are people going to be playing this game like that? I guess the people that are really going to be into it, I suppose, will be building their personal crews that they take into each match, and depending on the game mode, that'll matter or it won't. Because in like the general one that we were playing at first until you get to level 6 or whatever, that stuff doesn't seem to matter at all. So yeah, it's a weird game that I think is going to feel very different a couple weeks after it comes out, and I will be curious about it, but I'm not excited about it in any real way.
You know what Juno reminds me of? This new Overwatch character. Remember that animated music video for that one song by the sorry, I can't remember the Tron Legacy composers.
Oh, Daft Punk?
Daft Punk.
Oh no, actually Mike's right. He is right on that.
It reminds me of that.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking. You know what music video I'm talking about.
Yeah, but also just calling them the Tron Legacy composers.
I know
you know, Mike, but I have to say it for the people. There's so many people yelling at their podcast player right now.
They're right too. I'm sorry.
Ain't gonna lie, it's kind of their best stuff.
That shit rules for sure.
I associate them with that and YTMND because people use that "Working Harder" song in their early internet memes all the time.
I associate them with Toonami when on early Toonami they played the animated film that they made for one of their albums, which fucking.
That's what I was talking about. Yeah.
Oh really? The animated. Oh wait. Oh, that stuff's from way before Tron Legacy.
No, why I brought them up is because that's what Juno reminds me of, is the animated thing they did.
Oh, okay. I haven't looked at Juno. I thought you said they remind you of Daft Punk with the helmets on and stuff. And like
no. They remind me of that animated thing. That's what Juno reminds me of. That's why it's cool.
All right, fair enough.
You only listen to the part you want to be mad about. You're like the people yelling at me about.
I'm sorry that I was reeling from you calling them the Tron Legacy composers. You're right. My bad.
Man, they're really setting themselves up for a rough one by not having them. I mean, I think they're not a band anymore, but it's rough. They're not going to have them in Tron 3.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Good luck to whoever's doing that score.
It'll probably be Trent Reznor.
Great.
All right, Mikey. I think that's going to do it for what we've been playing. But we do have one last thing. This is going to be sort of a look inside our community where we do a fantasy critic draft, and then we've been keeping up with the league throughout the year. A bunch of games have come out over the past quarter, and I think we have an update from Benji Bop. Benji, is there a visual component to this?
Yes, there is. Okay,
why don't you share that with me real quick, and we'll get that up on the screen for everybody. Let's see here.
Closer,
Mike, for what it's worth, I have never left the minds of Overwatch 2, and outside of content creators whining about the tanks being tanky again, the balancing is pretty good right now.
Yeah, it's been so long that there's like multiple characters I haven't even tried it. Like I never even played Lifeweaver at this point. So
This never even played Lifeweaver. Get a load of this piece of shit.
Fuck, I have to like buy all these characters, or do I not
No,
anymore?
they reverted that. You're good.
Jesus.
That was a stupid thing, but yeah, Juno looks cool. That's a cool design.
All right, Benji.
I think your kit's going to be good.
Let's do this thing. How is it going in the Fantasy Critic League?
Yes, long overdue for starters. I have not made one of these since April 1st. I apologize for the tardiness because I know a lot of people want me to talk about how good their team is. So here you go. 2024 Game Mess Fantasy Critic recap from April 1st to July 15th. Editor's note again. There's a lot of games that just released or had reviews like NES Championship, Kanitsugami, a couple other ones. So scores are kind of all over the place. So
they're
it
in
might
flux.
look different on the site right now. Just want to point that out there.
Cool.
However, in traditional fashion, we do have a good bar chart, race, time lapse, whatever you want to call this. Jeff, if you want to shoutcast, you can.
Yeah,
I
go
can
for
take
it.
over.
No, I'll handle this. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, there's like a 5-second buffer, so I'm going to press play. That's
Okay,
not
sure.
gonna do
Yeah.
anything.
In the lead right now, we have Dr. Lynch with 50 points out ahead, and that is where things are going to start. A big pack of people right behind them, including Low Roll Legend, GameCube Chris, Tyler James Bay, and Razzle Jazzled, only a few points behind. But immediately, Dr. Lynch is going to pull out ahead a little bit more before Low Roll Legend catches up and surpasses with the release of Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade comes out, and that's going to shake things up. And then Hades 2 is going to shoot out, and that's going to put I'm Way Gooderist way near the top, although they're going to fall behind. It's Lorelei, and the Laser Eye comes out of nowhere and helps Dr. Lynch reclaim the lead. Matt Rare Monkey's right behind him, and then Teach QC makes a big jump. Dawn Trail's release, though, puts Teshi 1999 in the lead. Dr. Lynch just behind. Matt Rare Monkey in third. That puts us into the middle of June. Still plenty of games to go. And then Bugadillo jumps ahead. What game was that, Mike?
That was Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Shadow of the Erd Tree helps out Bugadillo there big time. Zinless Zone Zero then moves ahead a couple of people. We're moving through July. We're catching up to today's date. Let's see how things are going to shake out there at the end. Bugadillo with a big lead with 84 points. Behind them is Teshi 1999 with 74.5 points. And Dr. Lynch in third with 72.4.
Yeah, it looks like Shadow of the Erd Tree was a big help for that one.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah, yep.
Yes, thank you, Jeff.
Also,
Also,
Nick Turbo's in last. Sorry, Nick.
Well, no, he's like in like 20th. There's like 80 people in this.
We're
Hell
not even
yeah.
on this chart, Jeff. You're not even
Jesus.
charting.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right. We're on this, aren't we? We're not even up there. Our games are still
just
coming.
Just wait. I have a slide just for you.
Oh, shit.
I think it should be noted here. It's also color coded. It's interesting to see which leagues are doing well. So like Critique Bros, which is red, they have the top 3.
That's
And
crazy.
Yeah, which like the dispersion of this, there's 5 different leagues where they all have the same games, and yet still there are 3 people at the top.
That's really
all
impressive.
from the same league.
All right, well, that's the competitive league apparently.
Okay, so speaking of notable releases of the period, as Mike mentioned, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree is our top scorer of the period with a 93.8. And if you remember how Fantasy Critic works, anything over 90, each point is doubled. So 3.8 times 2 equals 7.6, which is how it scored so high. Destiny 2, The Final Shape, also a high-performing DLC. In our league, we do have an early access rule where if it gets scored, it counts. So Hades 2, even though it's not 1.0, it still counts with an 89.8, did very well. Animal Well, Paper Mario, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, and Nine Souls are great indie gets, both in the mid to high 80s. Hellblade 2 coming in at the low 80s, Another Crab's Treasure, and then, of course, our favorite performing Nintendo franchise, Endless Ocean Luminous, rounding out the bottom with a strong 61.6. That is worth negative 8.4 points, so if you counterpick that, congratulations. That's more points than most games get.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, it's not as good as my my Skull and Bones counter pick over in the Giant Bomb.
No,
League,
but
not
what
bad.
could be?
What could be?
Yeah, Mike, you keep holding on to the giant bomb lead because you're not going to like where you are in this one. Keep thinking about that.
I'm doing way better over there. You're right.
Hold on to that one. So Game Mess Critiques, which is Jeff's league, we have Tyler James Bay and his team Rock and Roll McDonald's staying put at the top with a score of 69.92, and right behind him, Sir Meatwad with a difference of 0.08, which is insane for Open Critic. That's how close the scores are. He's right behind him at 69.84. Also shout out Cranges McBasketball for moving up 11 standings from the last period, and a couple movers and shakers throughout.
Where am I at?
We'll get there. Last of the critique dogs, Matt Rare Monkey with his team Rare Monkey AM2 took over with a score of 71.5. Dr. Ryan right behind him with We Bought a Publisher. And then one of my favorite team names, Atomized Bobby Kotick, ABK, moved up 9 positions. And then Hold L3 and R3 to publish your game also moved up 9 positions. Great job to both of those publishers. Moving on to close to the Messy Critic, where yours truly is not on this leaderboard. We have Teach QC with Console Wars Social Construct Industries moving up 7 places to first place with 66.58. Also shout out Tallarico Industries and I'd Win, who also moved up 7 and 8 positions respectively. Moving on to Critical Jeopardy, this is Turbo Sean's league. Familiar face at the top, it's Beef Hammer 11 with the Jan O Choo Choo Choa Express with 53.68 points, but he is right, and his lead is like nothing. 53.3 right behind him with Blackheart Vinyl and Freshly Streamed Games. Also shout out Golden Deer Entertainment, War Crimes and Other Leisurely Activities, and Big Bosses, Venomous Solids and Liquids, who all moved up 7 to 9 positions.
Wow, that's impressive.
Finally, the last of our divisions, we have the Critique Bros, where Ash Guy is the captain, and Bugadillo. This is the one where we got the heavy hitters. We got Bugadillo, Teshi 1999, and Dr. Lynch, all above 70.
Wow.
Insane numbers. And then we also have Hail Station which would be top 3 in any other league with a 50.84, but it's only good enough for 4th here. Now, as the Critic League works in the Game Mess, we go by the overall scores, not by division. So we'll have 1 champion, not 5. And our top 10 overall leaderboard. Bugadillo, Teshi 99, and Dr. Lynch are the same 3 we saw earlier. Some big moves for Bugadillo. Matt Rare Monkey also moved up 30 positions. Atomized Bobby Kotick moved right in front of Def Not Bobby Kotick. And that was a great 46 positions is a lot. That's like half the league. So good crazy job on those releases. And also shout out to Dr. Lynch, Tyler James Bay, and Lower Legend. You stayed in the top 10 out of like 80 people. You're still up there. So even though you're moving down a couple spots, you're still near the top.
Right. It's a marathon too, because it's like, a lot of games still to come out.
Oh yeah. Yep. We got a big second half. Now you have both alluded to I think the question we're all wondering. Where's Mike and Jeff? Where's Sean? Where's Bob? Where's Ash Guy? Well, we have your captain's leaderboard here. Turbo Sean did not have any releases, so he, I think he had Rebirth, and I think that's why he has a 25.12, so he's still sitting pretty with no new releases. Jeff, your team, Stunt Race FX on these hoes gaming, still one of the best names in the league by far.
I'm definitely on the all-name league, number 1, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. You'll be first team all name league for sure.
Exactly.
You had Dawn Trail, Kinitsugami, and Manor Lords come out, so you're now moved up to second with a 23.43. Ash Guy with his team Ash Games moved up to third with Hellblade 2, Homeworld 3, and even though it's in red, this is actually a good counter pick because Scald only got three points.
You could do a lot worse than that.
Yeah. So only -3. That's pretty good. And then I didn't have anything come out, so I'm just kind of chilling in fourth while you guys fight it out.
You're doing really bad, huh? I mean, who could possibly be doing worse than you?
It's funny you say that, Jeff, because in 5th place we have Rocket Mike Adventures, captained by Mike Minotti, and now you might see a red number next to his name.
I mean,
and
any points is good though at this point, right? That's the thing. Like anything in the positive side is really going to be positive for him.
Right. He has to get there first, and he hasn't had anything released. I forget what his counter pick was, but that's the only thing that's
my counter pick was Rise of the Ronin, which got a 77, so that's where the -7 points.
Excellent. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Now look, I have some big games that are going to come out. I've got Star Wars Outlaws, Mario and Luigi Brothers Ship. Thank goodness you're here. Like, it's not completely over for me, although apparently I had Shantae Advance, and we know that's not coming out this year. How the hell is Shantae Advance not coming out this year? Great. But that's fine. I'll be fine.
We do have like one drop, right? We still have a drop, right? Is an unconditional drop?
Yeah, you probably do. If you haven't used it yet, there's also another option.
I think I already had the 3D Mario platformers.
Well, Mike, don't worry, because I have something that will still save you. That being said, I didn't want to leave you out of the graphics, so I did need to put some sort of stat, and I feel like, just some representation. You're not last. You're third from last. You're not last. So it's like you can hang your hat on that.
There you go. There's something.
It's hanging.
So before I head out, because that is the last slide, I do have some things to remind the community about. September 1st is your counter pick deadline. We all started with one. You need a bid for your second one. And of course, it's a counter pick, so it has to be someone else's pick in your division. And that deadline is September 1st. If you do not have a second counter pick by then, it's an automatic -15. So literally bid on anything because it's probably better than a -15.
Right.
That being said, something that we do that I know the Giant Bomb League, I'm pretty sure doesn't, is a super drop. And Mike, this is where you might be saved.
Oh, God.
So after September 1st, I think you have to be within a certain threshold of the lead. And let me tell you, none of us are in that threshold. So this applies to all 5 captains. There's a super drop, which basically is an extra drop that ignores every single rule. You could drop a game that came out that sucked. You could drop a bad counter pick. You could drop another game that's supposed to come out this year. It's a totally rules-free drop. And it's given to anyone. It's a catch-up. It's a catch-up mechanic, basically. So
okay.
Have no fear. Your -6.68 will not stay, for the rest of the year. And Jeff, you mentioned it too. There's a lot of games coming out. I do want to recall from last year, the Uncharted Wolf was like doing terrible. I don't think he even remembered he was in this league, and then we reminded him, and he came in second, and all of his games he picked up between like September and November.
Yep.
So there, there's. I know the leaderboard looks scary, but if you're still in it, you have plenty of games. Like you might have to get in the weeds a little bit, but there is stuff out there that can definitely get you to the top.
And, I mean, weird things happen like that get a lot of points. Balatro is over 90, right? And that kind of came out of nowhere. But even things like the expansion for Destiny 2, that was over 90. That was a huge get for somebody that maybe you wouldn't think of right away necessarily.
Yeah. This is, and just to remind people, right now, I think we are in the period where you can't bid on anything. That'll start again on Monday. When does that begin again?
Yes. So as of, I think, an hour ago, or maybe it was 2 hours ago, we can only bid on games that already had a bid between Sunday and Thursday. So if you're bidding on something right now, it's probably something that someone else already bid on. But yes, starting Sunday, the bids open up again, and you can bid on whatever you want. So yeah, unfortunate timing, but
Yep.
Next week will be.
Yeah, that's just either way. The point is, pay attention, everybody. Get back in there, give it a shot, make a few bids.
We got to remind some Giant Bomb people to pay attention to that league too. We got to because there's something on. Forget what something's on the line there.
That's right. I think whoever gets in last has to play the game that got the worst review score that anyone picked.
Okay, that's fun.
All right. Anything else, Benji Bob?
Well, I was going to say, if you need me to make like a emasculating review for that league, my services are available. So
all right.
I'm projected for first in that one. That'd be great.
Yeah. We'll enjoy that. See what you can do on that. We'll see. Maybe we can make something happen for a BCR here pretty soon. All right. Let's wrap things up, Mike. I'm going to hit the button. Oh wait, we have super chats.
Super chats.
We did get a few more super chats in there. Mike, go ahead and read those for us, please.
Yeah. From a Dibbity Dab says playing the new No Man's Sky update and just named my starting planet Game S Decides.
Fantastic.
They check payable to Dibbity Dab. This game looks excellent. Yeah, I have not played No Man's Sky since basically launch. I would be curious to go back and just catch up on all of these amazing updates apparently. So pretty neat. Have you thought much more about their weird like big world game that they're also making now?
He has been tweeting.
What's that?
Sean, he has been tweeting. What's his name?
Sean Murray.
Sean Murray. Hello, games. Sean Murray. Yes.
Christian, that was one of your most extreme coming in hot yet. It was just he took a sentence and said it in like half a second.
Earlier this week I was thinking a lot about that game. Actually, I'm like that. They probably have got so many refined technologies that they are going to deploy on that thing, and then to just have one planet and it's a fantasy set. I'm probably gonna lose myself in that game. I'm really hopeful. We think we have a few more super chats, right?
Yeah. Grug says random thought, but what if the Daikatana and Nintendo World Championship leaderboard situations are karma for not buying a Squidward last Friday?
All right, fine. I'll buy a Squidward right fucking now. Are you people happy?
There you go.
You better be happy.
Symbiosis says killer dump truck today, boys. Backlar would have been proud. Also, there was no way Costanza's Frogger score would have still been on that machine. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. Brono Trigger says, Mike, I hope the Skyriz helps keep the crones at bay. Thank you, Brono. And Chris Pratt says we should have a gamer national convention. I agree. We should have Chris Pratt
he does
in
such
that
great
Hulk
things
Hogan
for
slot.
The gamers. Thank you, Chris Pratt.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris on. And that is it now.
All right. I'll see you all at the GNC, where I'm sure there will be several very violent riots. Until then, though, let's hit the button. Mike, you got anything going on? You want to tell people? Is there a stream you got planned or anything like that?
There's a new 90s Disney out talking about our favorite transportation vehicles and rides in Disney World. But yeah, I'm going to get to streaming this weekend. Probably Friday nights. We'll do some more Dark Souls, but definitely some Nintendo World Championship and maybe some of this Concord beta, honestly, too. I want to check that out at least a little bit. So yeah, plenty of things to play this weekend, for sure.
I'll probably find some time to get online and maybe stream something. I want to, like I said, I want to take some time to myself this weekend. That'll probably involve that. I did a Q&A last weekend. I still have not posted that. I'll get that taken care of. And by that, I mean, I might send it over to Christian. We'll get that posted for everybody. Anything else? Yeah. Giant Bomb, a ton of great stuff happened this week. As people have been alluding to, it was a very fun voicemail dump truck. You should go check that out. If you haven't subscribed to that podcast, just go do it now. Just go search voicemail dump truck or VMDT on your podcast player. You can listen to that. It's a good time. Tomorrow, I'll have a Game Mess Mornings. And then I'll have a UPF where we're going to play some Nintendo World Championships. At the very least, we'll probably spend most of the time playing that. Mike, are you going to be around for that? I can't remember if...
I believe so, unless I feel incredibly Sky-rizzed up.
Yeah,
I think
no
I'll be
problem.
fine.
Yes, if you can, that'd be great. Maybe we'll find a way to like kind of have some side-by-side gameplay, and we can like just spend some time trying to set a score on a level or something like that. I don't know. We'll probably have to just figure it out as we go. And then we'll do a BCR after that, where we'll talk about a few other things this week. It'll be a good time. Other than that, though, just hope everyone has a good week. If you're going out to Evo, be safe, have a good time. Go find Sean. He's there, and he is doing stuff for both Giant Bomb and I think GameSpot as well. So, so find him, say hello, and then he'll definitely be like, hey, you want to be in a video, or maybe there might be a chance he'll be like, you want to be in a video for Giant Bomb. He's going to be doing a travel log, I think. So look out for that. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Bye.
Squidward is $35 fucking.
I get fucked.
Yeah, I definitely beat it this time.
Yeah. A very mature show we do.